1310 WDPN studio, it's time for live and local sports talk. It's the Sam Bourquin Show.
I'm ready.
Give the show a call at 330-821-1310.
Good call, meatball.
Watch the Sam Bourquin Show on the AM 1310 Facebook page, the Q92 YouTube page, and on X. This is the Sam Bourquin Show on AM 1310 WDPN.
Fadden's off to the right. Flacco out of the gun, looking to throw. Throws to the right. It's up for grabs, and it's caught. It was deflected. It was deflected by Humphrey and caught for a touchdown by Cedric Tillman. On the defensive end, Flacco drops back to pass. Pockets collapsing. He's sacked, and he lost the football. It's picked up by Roquan Smith. Roquan Smith could go the whole way. He is going to go the whole way. Trying to go up 2 scores, and they're going to keep it conservative for Myers. Walker on the run. He may bust a touchdown. He will. Backbreaker from Kenneth Walker III, and Seattle jumps out by 2 scores. Line drive, left center field, racing back Fletcher, won't get it. It'll go to the wall. Quan scores the tie run. Jose on his heels with the go-ahead run. Big Bo delivers with a 2-out, 2-run double to put the Guardians in front. Alonso drives one to deep right field, headed toward the wall. That ball is out of here. Pete Alonso wins it with an opposite field 3-run homer. The Mets put the 8-game losing streak behind them. Ground ball. Up the middle, diving stop by Rocchio. Unbelievable! Book it, baby! 3-2.
Oh, thank goodness. Thank goodness for the Cleveland Guardians. Thank goodness for the Ohio State Buckeyes. Thank God for Mount Union, the Cavs. You know where I'm going here, right? Welcome into the Sam Bourquin Show, everybody. It is another beautiful Monday here in the Carnation City and all over the Buckeye State today. About 82, 83 degrees, nice warm sunshine. Welcome in, everybody. Sam Bourquin here, Ryan Rainsberg on the other side of the glass. We're ready to go here for another big week on 1310 WDPN. You can watch and listen to the show on our 1310 WDPN Facebook page, X page, and, of course, the Q92 radio page on YouTube. Welcome in, everybody. Welcome in. How was your weekend? Rainsberg, do you have a good weekend?
Yeah,
I know
it was a good weekend.
You were here Friday and Saturday for a little bit.
Yeah, it was a good weekend to have the windows open, just air the place out, enjoy the weather. Spend some time just being outside, enjoying the sunshine.
Yeah, weather was good. Weather was good this weekend. So I watched the game yesterday until I think it was the first second series of the second quarter. And I forget what the score was at that point. And I said, you know what? I'm done. I'm done for the day. It's 80 degrees out. I'm going outside. I'm not wasting another minute on this football team. Now, keep in mind, my expectations are zero. It's not like I turn the TV on and I expect great things to happen, and then, they go and do dumb things, and they get behind, and they do silly things, and they make mistakes, and they turn, and I get all upset and mad and scream and holler. I don't do that anymore because my expectations are zero. Folks, I told you, and I'll tell you again today, I told you this team is not even going to win 6 games. They're not. They're not going to win 5. I told you that. I put my money where my mouth is. I bet the Browns under 5.5 wins, and I feel so good about that I don't even care that it's Cleveland Browns blood money, so to speak. I don't even care. I told you all. The Browns and Flacco can create some magic, and Judkins will be back, and Miles, and you really believe that gobbledygook? This team stinks. This organization stinks. I don't know how y'all root for them. I really don't. I really don't. I've wondered that for years. Outside of it being passed down from your father or your grandfather, where there's some family tie to the tradition of the Cleveland Browns for decades, maybe it was season tickets or whatever. I don't know how you root for this organization. I don't root for them. I watch them. I cover them. I don't root for them anymore. I can't root for Jimmy Haslam. I can't root for Andrew Berry. I can't root for Paul DePodesta. I can't do it anymore. So I don't. I watch the games. I take some notes when need be. I watch highlights. I watch shows, listen to some podcasts. I don't need to sit there for 3 hours every Sunday and ruin my day just because I should watch them for 3 hours. I'm not doing it anymore. I'm not doing it anymore. I shut it off yesterday, the second quarter. We knew how this movie was going to end. I knew how the movie was going to end before the movie started, and so should you have as well. But probably some of you huddled around the TV and went to the sports bar and had your Browns gear on and probably bet on them and woof, 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 and there you go. There you go. How was that 41-17 sandwich? How was that yesterday? It taste good? This team stinks. You know what? They want to stink. That's another reason why you should never, ever have any expectations for this team this year, next year, or the following. I've tried to tell you, this team is not going to do anything of any consequence until 2029. I'm telling you this. Oh, Sam, but you never know. No, I know. I know stink when I smell it. This organization stinks from Jimmy Haslam and D. Haslam all the way down to the people wiping the seats off in the 534 section in the upper deck. They stink. And if you can't see it, and if you can't smell it, then I can't help you. I can't help you. Oh, but they should be 1-1. But they're not. And that win would have been fool's gold anyway. Look at the Bengals now. Barely beat the Jags. Joe Burrow's going to have surgery. Probably going to be out for about 3 months. So now they got to have a backup come in there. Folks, you know why they're starting Joe Flacco, right? You know why they are going to stay with him, right? They're not trying to win. They're coming out and telling you, we're going to lose without telling you we're trying to lose. It's all in the position that the owner and the general manager put the coach and the players in at 1 o'clock on Sundays. I love Joe Flacco. Joe, let's see here, 2023 Joe Flacco is not walking back through the door. 2010 Joe Flacco is not walking through the door. Folks, he's going to play. They're going to go with him until they can't stand themselves anymore. And then they'll put Dylan Gabriel in, and then you'll probably see Shador at some point in the season. And you'll have your 3 or 4 win season, and you'll accumulate a couple of high draft picks next year, and you'll roll the dice, and you'll see what you can do. They're not trying to win. So, I don't know, quit having expectations. Don't get so mad and disgusted. It's how it's supposed to play out. They're doing exactly what they told you they were going to do when they drafted. They showed you that they're not in it to win it the next couple of years. And holy smokes, have you seen Arch Manning? Yeesh, he might have to stay in school 2 more years. He doesn't do anything for me yet. He was really bad. Texas, El Paso, San Jose State. You saw what the Buckeyes did to him. So if Uncle Jimmy and Aunt Dee have all their eggs in the Arch Manning basket, I don't know about that. He needs to stay in school. He better stay in school for another couple of years, and maybe he'll be ready to play. I don't see it. It might be in there, but I don't see it right now. So the Browns did yesterday what I thought they were going to do, and they did it to a T. They had they threw the ball 45 times yesterday. So that's what Flacco has he thrown 90 passes in the first 2 weeks? 40-plus-year-old Joe Flacco has had to throw the ball 90 times in the first 2 games. Okay, first of all, that's strike one. The next strike, all this crap going on with Quinshon Judkins. He had one padded practice this last week. He goes out and runs for, 61, 62 yards on 10 carries? Jerome Ford, please, stop. Dylan Sampson, really? Oh, how many people? Well, Dylan Sampson, that's a really good pick. Kid went to Tennessee. He's going to be, he's real good. Yeah, you can stop that. Jack Conklin looks like he's about 50. Joe Bitonio ain't getting any younger. Ethan Posick is just a guy. Cedric Tillman caught a touchdown pass yesterday by mistake. By mistake. That's the only way we can score is by mistake, by accident. My God, our field goal kicker actually made a field goal yesterday and a couple of extra points. I couldn't believe that. Our defensive backs get burned more than toast at the highest setting in a toaster that's over toasted for 10 minutes. Holy smokes. But Sam, they don't have MJ Emerson. He's hurt. Okay. That's one guy. How many DBs you got back there? 4? Craig Newsome. Guy's more interested in dancing than playing football.
Buck says Mitchell's so bad he couldn't cover a parked car.
God, Mitchell, he couldn't cover a table. He got beat 3 times for touchdowns yesterday. Mitchell. And you can't count on Ward to be healthy. And if he is, he plays pretty well. But there's always a couple. There's always a couple. He doesn't cover. Somebody gets loose. He's late on it always happens. I mean, my God, our special teams. Bubba Ventrone must have blackmail material on somebody in the Browns organization. How does that guy still have a job? Bubba Ventrone. How is he still employed? I'm still waiting. Anyone?
We have Cole and Bill on Facebook. Bill says, "Preach, Sam." And Cole says, "You're finally coming around to my side. Losers forever."
Finally. Come on, Cole. I've known this organization stinks since they came back. 1999. Folks, they are so bad. They're bad off the field. They're bad on the field. The only thing that they're decent at is like their community work. And they'll donate fields to teams in the city. Or they'll go around and help out with programs. And even that, I wonder, some of that's just, hey, we got to do this so we look good. It's about the only thing they're good at. But I'll tell you this, Sunday afternoon at 1 o'clock, there'll be 68,000 people there. You won't be able to get a ticket. Now, this is where this kind of angers me a little bit. the Green Bay Packers are coming to town. They're one of the best teams in the NFL, and you know how Packer fan travels? Do you know how many Packer fans there are in Northeast Ohio? So what are they going to do? They're going to go to the game, and there's going to be 68,000 seats. There will be a few Brown season ticket holders that will sell their seats because they will be able to make a mad profit. The general public is probably going to pass. There's probably going to be about 15 to 18,000 Packer fans in attendance on Sunday. And guess who's going to win? Jimmy, because people are going to buy all those tickets. I wish they were playing like, who's the worst team in the league? Well, besides the Browns. Who's the worst team in the league? Carolina? I wish Carolina was coming this Sunday. People would think long and hard about spending money on that product. Even though it would only be the second home game of the year, there would be some smart people that have common sense that would say, you know what? No. Not going. But he's lucky. He always gets lucky. He always has the favorable home schedule teams that travel that come in when his team stinks and isn't worth putting a penny on it. So the Packers are coming in. The Dolphins are coming in. They have a nice following in Ohio. So it'll be full. It'll be full on Sunday. There'll be a lot of Packer fans there. A lot of them. And good. Good for them. I don't know. I'm like becoming, I'm apathetic from a personal standpoint against the Browns. I'm apathetic. Now, I'll still watch because I can't come on here and talk to you about it if I don't watch, or if I don't at least watch a shortened version of the game. Like a lot of these games now, you can go back and watch the whole game in like an hour, which is really nice. And I can read up, and I can study up, and I can listen to interviews and watch highlights, and I can do all that. But I'll be damned if I'm going to sit there on a nice day inside and watch that. I personally am not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. If they don't care, why should I? I'm not saying the players. But if the organization, the administration, the ownership, the general manager, Paul DePodesta, how's things out in La Jolla, California, Paul? When's the last time you've been to Ohio? If they don't care, why should I? And there is a part of me, I really find it difficult to feel bad for professional athletes. Let's face it, they're doing a hell of a lot better off than we are. But I do feel a little bit bad for some of the players because of what they're in, what they're with. They're like, they can't do anything. You just show up and you play with pride and you work hard. That's all you can do. Like, I do feel a little bad for a guy like Joel Bitonio. I feel bad a little bit for a guy like who's the big tackle, number 77. His name escapes me right now. Wyatt Teller. I feel bad for some of the guys on defense, not many, some. But this is what you all should have seen coming. And if you didn't, I can't help you. This organization blows. They blow. And they don't care. This is how it's going to be. This is how it's going to be for the next couple of years. And then when they actually decide to, quote unquote, try and make a run at things because that new Haslam Taj Mahal is going to open up in Brook Park, and we got to get people to buy suites. We got to get people to buy the lodges. We got to get people to invest. So they'll start trying. But even then, do you trust them to get anything right? Personally, I don't think Andrew Berry or Kevin Stefanski is even going to be around after this year. So now you're starting over again in 26. But don't forget now, you got to be bad again in 26. Okay, you got to be bad again. So you get your draft picks ready for 27. Then 28, they start putting the shovel in the ground, and then by 29, they're going to play ball. I'm telling you, I have seen this movie before. I've seen it with other professional sports franchises. You watch how low this goes until when they actually start to try, and if they get it right, which I have no faith in, then they will start to go up the escalator around time to open up that new building. Now, you think I'm crazy? You think I'm nuts? You think I don't know what I'm talking about? This happens all the time. And those of you that had these grand illusions of 8, 9, 10, 11 wins, you better, my dad used to say, you better put your hat on and go home. Because this team is not even going to win 5 games. And if they do, then there needs to be a full-scale investigation of the National Football League, which I think there should be one anyway, but that's an argument for another day. So that's where we're at. Get ready for the Packers coming up Sunday. All right, we got the Sam Bourquin Show poll question of the day coming up. We will take a look at week 2 of the NFL, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Hey, the Guardians are still cooking. They're only 2 games out of the wild card. Come on, fellas. They swept the White Sox over the weekend. Now we're chasing the Rangers, and now we're chasing the Astros. Purple Raiders in Mount Union handled their business on the road over the weekend. Took care of Grove City. We had the game right here on 1310 WDPN. It was a pleasure to bring you that 49-14 Mount Union win. Buckeyes are still number 1, and we got on this day in sports history. All coming up, so keep it right here, 1310 WDPN.
The latest news and the current Alliance area weather forecast are up next on AM 1310 WDPN.
Good afternoon. It's 3:30. A framework deal has been reached between China and the U.S. for the ownership of TikTok. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent said today after trade talks in Madrid that President Trump and Chinese Premier Xi Jinping would speak Friday to possibly finalize the deal. Bessent says the objective of the agreement would be to switch to U.S. ownership. China's official news agency reports China's international trade representative says the sides have reached basic framework consensus. During Joe Biden's presidency, Congress and the White House used national security grounds to approve a U.S. ban on TikTok unless its Chinese parent company sold its controlling stake. Law enforcement sources tell ABC News that the suspect accused of shooting and killing conservative commentator Charlie Kirk was tracking Kirk's movements and familiarized himself with the campus at Utah Valley University. 22-year-old Tyler Robinson is expected to face formal charges this week. ABC News legal contributor Brian Buckmeyer says those charges may include federal hate crime charges.
I think there is an argument here that might be made, especially with this law enforcement, that if this is meant for politics, you can't have a hate crime based on politics, but Charlie Kirk's religion and politics are sort of intertwined. I could see an argument for this being motivated based on his religion and the mixture of his politics. The federal government could make a hate crime allowing for murder as well out of this as well.
Meanwhile, FBI Director Kash Patel tells Fox News Channel that DNA on a towel wrapped around a rifle found near where Charlie Kirk was assassinated matches that of the suspect. Qatar hosted a summit of Arab and Islamic nations in hopes of presenting a united response to Israel's attack on Hamas leaders last week in Doha. But leaders offered different views today about what to do, and the group agreed to take only minimal action. Israel has retaliated against Hamas and other militants in Iran, Lebanon, Syria, Yemen, and now Qatar. Before the summit, analysts floated possibly closing airspace to Israeli flights or downgrading ties with Israel. A final statement from the meeting only called on states to take measures to prevent Israel from continuing its actions against Palestinians. The Federal Reserve is expected to cut interest rates when it holds its September meeting this week. This as the jobs market is showing signs of a slowdown. Cutting interest rates has been one tactic used by the Fed to jumpstart hiring. But ABC's Rebecca Jarvis explains that cutting rates too much could lead to even more inflation.
The Fed has to balance a weakening jobs market with hiring slowing and inflation, which is still high in some categories, especially at the grocery store. You see it in coffee, ground beef, and apples.
It's 84 degrees in Alliance at 3:32. This is WDPN News. I'm Jeff Mears.
Here's the Alliance Area Weather Forecast on AM 1310 WDPN.
Forecast for this afternoon calling for sunshine at a high near 85 degrees. Tonight, partly cloudy, a low down to 56. Tuesday, sunny, a high near 83. Sunshine returns Wednesday with a high of 82. More sun Thursday, a high near 85. That's your WDPN weather.
Welcome back to the Sam Bourquin Show, 1310 WDPN. You can watch and listen live on the Q92 radio page on YouTube and our 1310 WDPN page on Facebook and on X. You can text the show as well, 330-924-7088. Text 330-924-7088. When's our phones going to get working again? We know? Any idea?
I'm not responsible for that information. That's not my department.
All right. Just wondering. A lot of people would like to call in. I heard that at the Luncheon Club today. So I don't know. We're working on it. Speaking of the Luncheon Club today, Jeff Dart, head football coach of the Purple Raiders, was there. Did an incredible job. Purple Raiders 49-14 at Grove City on Saturday. Another ranked team out of the way. So the Purple Raiders beat Wheaton 37-29, ranked in the top 20. They beat Grove City, ranked number 15, 49-14. Folks, if you missed the early part of the broadcast on Saturday, Mount Union was down 7-0. Grove City went right down the field. I thought, oh, okay. And then 49-7 was the score until the last couple of minutes. They got a gimme touchdown at the end. Mount was terrific on Saturday. Mikey Maloney was terrific. Darnell Williams. Our receiving core of Cockrell and Grant. Nick Turner, fantastic. And my guy, Yvonne Merrick, almost had a 52-yard field goal. Doggone ball hit the upright because it had plenty of juice. And that would have been a record. He just barely hit the upright. So I thought the Raiders played really well on Saturday. Now, I will tell you, I think Wheaton is better than Grove City. But the fact that you went on the road, you got punched in the mouth, and then you came back with an uppercut, a body blow, an uppercut, and a knockout tells me a lot about this team. And they have a bye week this Saturday. Get healed up a little bit, I guess. And then it's into OAC play. And our first game when we come back from the bye will be at Baldwin Wallace a week from this Saturday, 1:30, right here on 1310 WDPN. And after that, I don't think they're going to get tested. I can say that. I'm allowed to say that. You know, John Carroll is no longer in the OAC. That was our league, like, how do I put this? That was the league measuring stick for both teams. Usually almost every year. Well, we're not going to have that game anymore because they're not in the league. So now BW will probably give you a little bit of a match. But nobody else in this league is going to beat Mount Union. No way. And I'm just telling you. So I'm so glad that they scheduled up in the preseason this year. I keep saying preseason, the non-conference part of the season. Because now you've got teams, you've got wins over a top 15 and a top 20. One was on the road, and I'm telling you, Wheaton, I don't see Wheaton losing another game. I think Grove City might lose maybe one, maybe two at the most. So they're going to be 8-2. I think Wheaton will be 9-1. And like I mentioned, I just don't see Mount getting tested at all in the OAC. So they should be 10-0. They'll have those two great wins, non-conference. So you plug that into the strength of schedule formula and all the things that they do at the Division III level, the committee and the computer numbers and the strength of schedule and I fully expect this team to play at home all the way through in the postseason, and then hopefully have a little trip over to Canton for the Stag Bowl in early January. That's what I've got planned out on my calendar. Again, I'm allowed to do that. I'm not a player. I'm not a coach. They got to go one game at a time, but I can sit here and say that I believe that's what's going to happen. And yeah, if you're not on your P's and Q's one Saturday, anything can happen. But Mount's good enough to overcome those kind of days and still win. Folks, they look really good. This quarterback, sophomore, Mikey Maloney, who didn't get to play last year because of injury. He had a, what do they call it? Coach was talking about at the luncheon club today. You can't redshirt at division. Oh, it was a medical hardship. Okay, a medical hardship. So he'll have this year, he'll have sophomore year, next year junior, then the senior after that. So got him for a couple of years. He looks so good. He looks like he plays like a senior. His decision making, the way he carries himself on the field, the way I watch the other players react to him, whether they're an offensive lineman or a wide receiver, I see a guy that looks so poised and talented, and he's got a nice arm, and he can run a little bit if he has to. And then Darnell Williams at running back. Fantastic. Grant Cockrell at wide receiver. Turner at wide receiver. We have a nice tight end. Wyatt Steele. I think he's really good. Really good. Sean Thomas, another running back. Really good. I love our offensive line. I think our special teams are top of the charts. And then I look at the defense, and I see Caleb Brown. I see some of the big guys we got on the offensive line. I see our linebackers, our DBs. Yeah, they got beat a little bit against Wheaton there at the end when Wheaton went crazy and scored 3 touchdowns in like 8 minutes. They learned from that. Every rep, every practice, every film study. Folks, this is a really, really good Mount Union football team. Tell me if you ever heard that before. Hey, Mount's pretty good. Well, they're really good again. And you got to remember they lost quite a few from last year, graduation. In key spots. And they look really, really good. And it's only 2 weeks in, and now they get a bye to kind of take a little deep breath and then jump into OAC play and just, enjoy every practice, every game, every down, every film session, every training table, everything. Just enjoy it all. Keep getting better every week, every day. Just go out and play on Saturdays and do your thing. They're really good. They're really, really good. And the reason I say that is, they've opened the season at home. Then they went to Grove City, Pennsylvania. They're going to be off this week. So it'll be 3 weeks since you've had a chance to go watch them play. I would try to make a point to go over to watch Mount Union if you can. Of course, we'd love to see you up at Baldwin Wallace in a couple of weeks. And I know Raider Nation will travel. It's only about an hour and 15-minute drive from here, hour and 20, if that. But next time they're at home, if you can make it, love to see you over at Karas Stadium. This team's really good. You're going to love them. You're going to be proud of them. You're going to root them on. You're going to love the way they play. You're going to love just the way they approach their business. And that is because of Jeff Dart. That's because of the staff. That's because of the people that support the program. Champion the standard. That's what it's all about. Expect to win. Expect to go undefeated. Expect to play for a national championship. That's why Mount Union is who they are. They expect to win. They practice hard. They play hard. They get coached up hard. They want to win. They want to win for each other. They want to win for the community. They want to win for the school. They want to live for past Mount Union alum. They know what it means to put that jersey on. They know what it means to put that helmet on that says Raiders. They know what it means. And what happens every year? Boom, boom, boom. They are the pinnacle. They are. Now, there's a team out there. I know. They're in North Central Illinois. I know who they are. We know who they are. They've kind of gotten in our way a little bit the last couple of years. And I can sit here and tell you in early September, don't be surprised if Mount Union will battle North Central Illinois for the Stag Bowl on January the 10th at Tom Benson Hall of Fame Stadium. I would say that would be a pretty good bet. Now, I know anything can happen between now and then, and this is September, and I'm talking about January, right? Being the media guy, well, but I would say that would be a pretty good bet. And that's the only thing we got to get over on. That's it. And we played them well last year in Houston. Really played them well. Till late third into the fourth, things kind of got away a little bit. But I think this Purple Raider team is ready to go. Hello, Nick.
Hey.
How you doing?
Good.
What are you doing?
What are you guys? What are you guys talking about over here?
Actually, we're talking about Mount Union football.
Oh,
I know.
How wonderful.
Just because, we went over to Grove City on Saturday and broadcast their game, and they were really good. And I was just telling people how good they are, and they should go over to Mount Union and check them out if they can. One of these Saturdays coming up, and have good expectations and
you're impressed.
All those good things. Yeah. Now, I did go to Grove City. I did not go to the outlet malls.
Oh,
I just didn't have time, and I didn't even go to Permane Brothers.
Okay, now you really messed up.
I know, didn't I?
You really messed up.
Shame on me.
What were you doing that you couldn't go?
The game. and then
I was gonna say,
and then going home.
Oh, that's no fun.
Yeah, I know. I don't know. Wallet was a little light.
It was a little late.
Light.
The
wallet. Yeah.
Oh.
See, if I'm gonna go to the Grove City outlets, I better have about $500 at least.
Oh, look at you, big spender.
You know, and if I'm gonna go to Permane Brothers, that's $30-$40. You know?
Yeah.
Plus there's a casino over there that, you know, the Rivers Casino is really close.
I love Rivers.
Yeah. So I didn't do any of that.
Gosh.
I was the bump on the log.
You know what, Sam? Sometimes you gotta treat yourself.
I know. If I'd have had, say, I don't know, I just didn't have enough to do what I wanted to do.
You wanted to do it all.
And I'm that guy. If I can't do it all, I'm not doing it all.
I was going to say, because you could have still gone to Permane's, but
yeah,
you wanted the casino, you wanted the shopping, you wanted the dinner, you wanted all of it.
I wanted it all. And I didn't do any of it.
You know what?
And I got home and I ate what was on the table.
Oh. And was it leftovers? Because that's the ultimate worst.
Well, at least it was in a glass dish, you know. At least I can put it in the microwave a little bit.
Have you seen those videos? This is what I'm going to leave you with. The videos where it'll have like bank account $2.34, but then the person on the opposite end of the video is like, you know, shopping cart at the store, buying it all. We don't care.
Right? I know. So yeah, shame on me. But the thought of fun was there. I just didn't do it.
Next time, Gadget. Next time.
I know. And some would say, "Oh, you're responsible."
No.
Not really.
No.
I don't want to be responsible.
I'm saying you missed out. Dang it.
I did. All right.
Well, you enjoy your sports talk.
Well, thank you.
I'm here for everything else.
Okay. There she goes. Nick. She's done for the day on the air. She'll be back tomorrow, Q92. I'm going to check her out. So, yeah. Where was I? What was I talking about?
I don't know. Permane Brothers?
No, before Nick came in. What was I talking about? I was talking about Mount Union.
Yeah, something about that.
And how good they are. And, yeah, so that's that. So, yeah, bye week this week. But next Saturday we'll be at Baldwin Wallace. Purple Raiders and the Yellow Jackets will have it here, 1 o'clock, 1310 WDPN. All right, let's see here. Sam, watching the Browns each week is like watching a movie about the Titanic. Starts off with promise, and then the team hits the iceberg and turns it over, and it slowly slips away until the inevitable finally happens. I couldn't have said it better myself. By the way, our Sam Bourquin Show poll question of the day: who is most at fault for the Cleveland Browns 0-2 start? You can text us at 330-924-7088 or drop your comments on our social media platforms. Which is the biggest reason? Who is most at fault for the Cleveland Browns starting 0-2? John up in Barberton says, Sam, definitely the owner. Tom says, it starts with the ownership group, but not sure our coaching staff is up to par either. Mark says, special teams, Sammy. Special teams coach. Got to go. Eric says, Jimmy Haslam. Bill says, the ownership. The head coach just doesn't think he will ever lead them to the promised land. Bill says, Sam, it's Haslam, hands down. Lloyd says, the schedule maker. Lisa says, ownership. Dave says, it's the owner. You had Baker winning games and you ran him out of town. Now look at what you got. Nothing. What's Baker doing in Tampa? Yep, that's what I thought. Larry says, Sam, it's management, 100%. Joseph, owner, too many coaches changes. Owner, too many coaching changes. Then he'll put a little bit of blame on Stefanski, but not really his fault. Patrick says, personally, I love being a season ticket holder. This way I can see in person a new way to lose every game. It's absolutely fantastic. PC, bringing the humor. Jerry says, Sam, it starts with ownership. Frank says, it's Andrew Barry. Samuel E., the incompetent owner, and his equally incompetent front office. Now you guys are coming around. Now you're coming around. What's the biggest reason the Cleveland Browns are 0-4? Let me know on social media. Text me 330-924-7088. We're going to take a break. It's the Sam Bourquin Show on a beautiful Monday. 3:53 is your time. AM 1310 WDPN.
You've always enjoyed an active lifestyle, hiking with family, resort vacations, the occasional trip to the spa, and nights out with friends at your favorite restaurants. You want and need your lifestyle to follow you into your retirement years. Now, imagine a place with peaceful surroundings, resort amenities, and easy access to city life. It's just around the corner at Copeland Oaks. Copeland Oaks has earned a reputation as more than a retirement destination, but also a place to call home. An independent consultant for senior living rated Copeland Oaks with a perfect score, and it's easy to see why. Maintain your lifestyle on the beautiful Copeland Oaks campus with all the amenities you love, and if you need it down the road, assistance is there. Keep living your life to its fullest at Copeland Oaks, your all-inclusive senior living resort. Visit CopelandOaks.com for more information. That's CopelandOaks.com.
Music and intelligence for your life.
No matter what anybody tells you, words and ideas can change the world.
I'm John Tesh, and we couldn't be happier about bringing you intelligence for your life every day. We have a room full of researchers gathering the information and ideas you need to make your life simpler and better, and to make you the smartest person in the room. Join me for Music and Intelligence for Your Life, 10 to 3, Monday through Saturday, only on AM 1310 WDPN.
You heard it on the John Tesh Radio Show.
Canton's about to get a whole lot more colorful.
Mural Fest is back, and this year, 9 brand new murals are hitting downtown walls.
Be there for the big unveiling, Saturday, September 27th, from 1 to 4 p.m.
Live music, food, and a free downtown art experience you don't want to miss. 9 murals, 1 community, endless inspiration.
Mural Fest Canton, Saturday, September 27th, 1 to 4 p.m. in downtown Canton. Free and open to all. Check out muralfestcanton.com for more info.
How's Tommy doing now?
Much better.
You said it was asthma?
Yeah, he started with this cough and then he was wheezing.
That's terrifying.
Doctor said hidden triggers can make it worse. Things like dust, mold, even pests.
Pests?
Yeah, droppings and allergens from cockroaches and rodents can seriously impact children with asthma or allergies.
I had no idea.
We're making sure our home stays pest-free.
Don't let pests put your family's health at risk. Visit pestworld.org to learn more. A public service message from the National Pest Management Association.
Oh, it's a joke, all right. We're talking about the Cleveland Browns. Welcome back, AM 1310 WDPN. Check us out on all of our social media platforms. If you missed Jeff Dart today at the Pro Football Hall of Fame Luncheon Club over there at Tozie's on 12th, you can go back and watch Jeff, as he was the guest speaker today. You can go back and watch that on Q92 Sports Facebook, Q92 Sports X, and I believe on the 1310 WDPN Facebook page as well. Want to go back and watch Jeff Dart at the Luncheon Club today? That video and audio is up there in its entirety. You can go back and check that out anytime you wish. Also want to shout out to Patriot Mortgage and Jeff Boukety. Appreciate you, my friend. We got about 3 minutes until we get to the top of the hour. Biggest reason the Browns are 0-2 so far this year. In your opinion, what's the biggest reason? Frank says it's Andrew Barry. Get him out. Jaron says it all starts at the top. Jimmy and D. Haslam, period. Tracy M. says it's ownership. Well, I got some bad news for y'all. Jimmy Haslam's not going to fire himself. He's not going to trade himself. We're stuck. We're stuck. And when Jimmy gets tired of it, then D's going to have it, and then JW is going to have it. So this is what you're in for. This is what you're in for. You'll just have a nicer place to watch them be dysfunctional. You'll be able to sit inside the comforts of a dome that you helped pay for, and you'll get to watch them be dysfunctional in comfort. Does that make sense? Because that's where we're at. That's where we're at. Real quick, before we get to the top of the hour news and weather, there is a doubleheader tonight, NFL football. 7 o'clock game. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, speaking of Baker, will be at Houston to take on the Texans. That game starts at 7. And then the back end of the doubleheader tonight is in Vegas, the Chargers and the Raiders at 10 o'clock. So we get to see Baker and Stroud go at it in the first game tonight. That'll be kind of cool. That one's on ABC, 7 o'clock. And then the Chargers and the Raiders out in Vegas. That ball game is on ESPN only. So the first game, you got ABC, ESPN. The second game tonight, ESPN only. Checking out the numbers for tonight's game. The Texans are -2.5. The total is 42.5. Chargers and the Raiders, LA is -3.5. The total is 46.5. They got the line out for the Browns-Packers game yet? Let me take a look here. Before we get to break, let's see here. That would be September 21st. Packers are -8.5. Total 42.5. And they're a road team. But that place will look and feel like Lambeau Field by about the second quarter. All right, Jeff Mears is ready to roll. All the latest news and the weather coming up. We'll come back with 2 more big hours. Hang out with us here on a Monday. Sam Bourquin Show, 1310 WDPN.
Keeping Alliance entertained and informed for over a half a century. AM 1310 WDPN Alliance.
ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. In Utah, 22-year-old suspect Tyler Robinson set to be formally charged tomorrow for the fatal shooting of conservative activist Charlie Kirk. ABC's new legal contributor, Brian Buckmeyer, says it could include federal hate crime charges.
You can't have a hate crime based on politics, but Charlie Kirk's religion and politics are sort of intertwined. I could see an argument for this being a motivated based on his religion and the mixture of his politics. The federal government could make a hate crime allowing for murder as well.
In the wake of the Kirk shooting, GOP House Speaker Mike Johnson today says House Republicans will attach $58 million to a short-term measure to fund the government, all to pay for extra security for the judicial and executive branches. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent signaled a framework deal after talks with a China delegation to avert a ban on TikTok in the U.S. That if China-based ByteDance doesn't sell. President Trump and China's leader expected to hold talks this week. This is ABC News.
With Robinhood, not only can you trade individual stocks and ETFs, you can also seamlessly buy and sell crypto at low costs. Trade all in one place. Get started now on Robinhood. Trading crypto involves significant risk. Crypto trading is offered through an account with Robinhood Crypto LLC. Robinhood Crypto is licensed to engage in virtual currency business activity by the New York State Department of Financial Services. Crypto held through Robinhood Crypto is not FDIC insured or SIPC protected. Investing involves risk, including loss of principal. Securities trading is offered through an account with Robinhood Financial LLC, member SIPC, a registered broker-dealer.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance supervisor at a manufacturing facility, he knows keeping the line up and running is a top priority. That's why he chooses Grainger, Because when a drive belt gets damaged, Grainger makes it easy to find the exact specs for the replacement product he needs. And next day delivery helps ensure he'll have everything in place and running like clockwork. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Now, the latest Alliance area news from Jeff Mears on AM 1310 WDPN.
Good afternoon. It's 4:02. The Ohio Department of Education and Workforce has released report cards for the 2024-25 school year. The performance index is used to rate school districts and individual schools from 1 to 5 stars. In Stark County, Jackson, Lake, North Canton, and Tuslaw received 4.5 stars. West Branch also received 4.5. Receiving 4 stars were Canton Local, Louisville, Minerva, and Northwest. Fairless, Marlington, Osnaburg, Perry, Plain, and Sandy Valley got 3.5, as did Sebring, United, and Waterloo. 3 stars went to Alliance, Brown Local, Salem, and Southeast. Canton City and Massillon received 2.5 stars. Ratings are based on performance on state tests. Districts were evaluated on achievement, gap closing, early literacy, progress, and graduation. Bond is set at $1 million for a Canton man accused in the killing of a homeless man. 44-year-old Justin Ove was arraigned today in Canton Municipal Court on charges of murder and felonious assault. He is scheduled to return to court Wednesday for a status conference. Canton police and firefighters responded Wednesday to the 1300 block of Wernet Court Southwest. Ove allegedly shot John Lee in his tent behind Renner's Plumbing Supply. Lee was taken to Altman Hospital, where he died of his injuries. Firefighters quickly put out a blaze at a tent caused by a small propane tank. Ove was arrested on a warrant Friday. A man wanted on a rape charge in Massillon is the focus of a search led by U.S. Marshals. 30-year-old Tyler Anderson also is wanted by the Stark County Sheriff's Office for violating probation in cases involving felonious assault and domestic violence. The Northern Ohio Violent Fugitive Task Force says Anderson is described as white, about 5'7", and weighs roughly 155 pounds. He has ties to Akron and Cleveland and should be considered armed and dangerous. Anyone with information on Anderson's whereabouts can call 1-866-4-WANTED or submit a tip through the U.S. Marshals website. A reward may be offered. Tips can be anonymous. A Dallas-based company has sued the Hall of Fame Village, alleging it has not paid a nearly $268,000 bill. The Freeman Company reportedly provided rented equipment, pre-production labor, shipping, freight, and show labor for a concert between August 1st and 4th of 2024. The concert is not specified, but the dates coincide with the Concert for Legends with Carrie Underwood. The most recent date of invoice is April 12th. It's Constitution Week in Louisville. WDPN's David Schur has more.
The Louisville Community Choir's Sunday at 2 p.m. performance at Paradise Church began the activities surrounding the September 17th 238th anniversary of the signing of the Constitution at Philadelphia in 1787. Monday morning's prayer breakfast found more than 100 citizens gathered to hear Stark County Prosecutor Kyle Stone speak on the outward guidance of the Constitution as a parallel to God's inner guidance of our lives.
A man charged in an alleged nationwide elder fraud scheme is scheduled to appear in federal court Wednesday for a change of plea hearing. Yash Ravel and 2 co-defendants are charged with money laundering. He was arrested in November 2023 while picking up cash from an alleged victim, a 77-year-old Salem man. Victims were tricked into believing their computers were hacked and their identities stolen. They were then talked into sending large sums of money to people posing as representatives of Microsoft or their banks. The other suspects are in plea negotiations with federal prosecutors. 6 people in 5 states were targeted, with losses totaling $4.8 million. The Salem man was defrauded out of about $61,000. A Mahoning County judge has granted a motion to postpone the trial of a man charged in a fatal shooting. Common Pleas Judge Anthony D'Appolito approved the request for continuance filed by the defense attorney for 18-year-old Daniel Sellers. He was scheduled to stand trial today. Proceedings are now slated to begin October 27th. The postponement comes after prosecutors submitted additional witnesses and evidence. Sellers is charged with murder, felonious assault, and involuntary manslaughter. In April 2023, 15-year-old Amaya Montserrat was shot after a fight broke out during a birthday party at a tavern on Southern Boulevard. 23-year-old Son Peterson pleaded guilty to charges including involuntary manslaughter. He is awaiting sentencing. Boardman police say a brawl at a wedding party led to the arrest of 3 men. Officers responded to a restaurant on McClurg Road Saturday night and discovered roughly 20 people yelling at each other. The crowd was dispersed with pepper spray. 28-year-old Alexander Holmes of Warren, 32-year-old Spiros Theophilus, and 57-year-old John Holmes, both of Tampa, Florida, were arrested and booked at the Mahoning County Jail. Alexander Holmes and Theophilus were charged with obstructing official business and resisting arrest. Theophilus and John Holmes are also charged with assault. Alexander Holmes allegedly refused to leave the scene, while Theophilus is accused of punching an officer in the neck. A taser was used to subdue him. John Holmes allegedly hit another man who refused treatment. The Highway Patrol is investigating a fatal motorcycle crash in Summit County. It happened around 4:30 Sunday afternoon. 69-year-old Dragan Sirik of Ravenna was southbound on State Route 8 in Northfield. The patrol says his motorcycle went off the right side of the road, struck a curb and a utility pole near milepost 21. Sirik was transported to Hillcrest Hospital, where he died. It's not known if alcohol and drugs were factors in the crash. Sirik was not wearing a helmet. It's 83 degrees and Alliance at 4:07. This is the local edition of WDPN News. The forecast is next, a service of Canterbury Villa of Alliance. I'm Jeff Mears.
This WDPN weather is brought to you by Canterbury Villa of Alliance, where your loved ones become family. Schedule a free visit today by calling 330-821-4000.
Your forecast this afternoon calling for sunny skies with a high near 86. Tonight, partly cloudy, a low around 56. Sunshine Tuesday, a high near 83. For Wednesday, more sun, a high of 82. Sunshine continuing Thursday, a high of 85. That's your WDPN weather.
Send your loved ones to a place that cares and a place that they can trust. They'll find a place that feels like home at Canterbury Villa in Alliance. They will provide the highest level of care to their residents when it comes to skilled nursing, rehabilitation, long-term care, and Alzheimer's care. At Canterbury Villa, your loved ones become family. Located on Freshley Avenue, schedule a free visit today by calling 330-821-4000 and ask for Samantha Nutter. At Canterbury Villa, they walk the talk.
Live from the AM 1310 WDPN studio, it's time for live and local sports talk. It's the Sam Bourquin Show.
I'm ready.
Give the show a call at 330-821-1310.
Good call, meatball!
Watch the Sam Bourquin Show on the AM 1310 Facebook page, the Q92 YouTube page, and on X. This is the Sam Bourquin Show on AM 1310 WDPN.
Fadden's off to the right. Flacco out of the gun, looking to throw. Throws to the right. It's up for grabs, and it's caught. It was deflected. It was deflected by Humphrey and caught for a touchdown by Cedric Tillman. On the defensive end, Flacco drops back to pass. Pockets collapsing. He's sacked and he lost the football. It's picked up by Roquan Smith. Roquan Smith could go the whole way. He is going to go the whole way. Trying to go up 2 scores, and they're going to keep it conservative for Myers. Walker on the run. He may bust a touchdown. He will. Backbreaker from Kenneth Walker III, and Seattle jumps out by 2 scores. Line drive, left center field, racing back, Fletcher won't get it. It'll go to the wall. Quan scores the tie run. Jose on his heels with the go-ahead run. Big Bo delivers with a 2-out, 2-run double to put the Guardians in front. Alonso drives one to deep right field, headed toward the wall. That ball is out of here. Pete Alonso wins it with an opposite field 3-run homer. The Mets put the 8-game losing streak behind them. Ground ball up the middle, diving stop by Rocchio. Unbelievable! Man. Book it, baby. 3-2.
All right, Matty. Getting a little excited there. Why not? That was a great way to end the game. White Sox had runners at first and third, I think. And Rocchio made a game-saving play. Threw out the guy at first, gave us with the stretch. Ball game was over. Guards win. Guards win. How about this baseball team? Are you kidding me? They are 78-71. They're 9-1 in their last 10. They have won 4 games in a row. And now They are only 2.5 games out of the wild card spot. Now we're trying to leapfrog Texas and Houston. We have 71, 49, 49. We have 14. No. How many games do we have left? 13. We have 13 games left. Folks, I can't believe, despite their cheap owner, they are still in a shot to get into the postseason. The pitching has been phenomenal. Now, did it help we were playing the White Sox over the weekend? Of course it did. That team's 30, 57, and 93. They're awful. But they're on the schedule. You got to play them, and you got to beat them. And they did. The only unfortunate thing is these other teams in front of us have decided to go on win streaks too. Seattle 9-1 in their last 10. The Rangers 7-3 in their last 10. Matter of fact, the Mariners have gone past the Astros for the crown in the West. That's why we're not chasing Seattle right now. We're chasing the Astros. But they just keep winning. The Guardians keep winning. Now we see what we got. Guardians at Tigers, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Cantillo and Mize, the pitching matchup tomorrow. On Wednesday, Allen and Flaherty. Thursday, Williams and Skubal. Oh, my. Tuesday night, Wednesday night, Thursday is a 1:10 first pitch. So it's all going to come down to the final 12 games of the year. What else can you ask for? Incredible. Incredible that they're still in it. It is absolutely incredible. They have no power. They don't, you basically got a rookie playing first base. I mean, still, at the end of the day, folks, this is still like a 2 or 3 man operation. Hosey, Quan, and most of our starting pitching. It's unreal. It is absolutely incredible. But they're still cooking. 78 and 71 off today. They got the Tigers for 3. And we'll be scoreboard watching with the Astros. We'll be scoreboard watching with the Texas Rangers. So we'll see how it plays out. Monday Night Football tonight, there's a doubleheader for you. Buccaneers, Texans at 7, and the Chargers and the Raiders tonight at 10. Sam Bourquin Show poll question of the day. Who is most responsible for the Cleveland Browns start of 0-2? Who is most responsible for the Cleveland Browns starting off the season 0-2? Coach? Ownership? Andrew Berry? Players? Who is most responsible for this team starting off with a record of 0-2? Text me, 330-924-7088. You can drop your comments on all of our social media platforms. I'll get to the comments on Facebook. By the way, you can leave your comments there on my Facebook page as well. And if you want to follow me on X, would love to have you there, at Sam Bourquin 16 on X. Same deal on TikTok, at Sam Bourquin 16. You know, it's funny. I'm going to get off on it just real quick here, like 5 seconds. TikTok. I put a video up of Mount Union and Grove City shaking hands after the game on Saturday. Purple Raiders winning at 49-14, of course. And I just, as I do every game, I will give the final score, come back, join us for the post game, 13-10 WDP. I do it for the high school games on Friday, and I do it for the Mount Union games on Saturday. It's just a real simple, like a 12, 15-second video of me wrapping up the game and the players coming across the field and shaking hands. And I'm not doing this to pump my own horn because, I mean, it's TikTok. We're not saving lives. But just that little video I put up there, 47,000 views of two teams shaking hands after a game. I couldn't believe it. But hey, man, anything to get the Purple Raiders out there, anything at all, I love it. I love it. More people to get to see the Purple Raiders do their thing, and hashtag Mount Union, hashtag D3 football, hashtag 1310 WDPN. I'm there for it. So, Sunday, I went into the Browns-Ravens game with zero expectations. And it was just a matter, to me, it was just a matter of, okay, how badly are they going to get beat today? I mean, Vegas pretty much told you all you needed to know. By kickoff, the Browns were a 12.5-point underdog. It was 11.5 all week. And then once Sunday rolled around, the people, the sharps, even some of the public said, you know what? This is going to be ugly. And they were right. That line went up to 12.5, and the Ravens mauled the Browns 41-17. Mauled them. But my question to you today, the poll question is, why? What is the biggest reason, in your opinion, that the Browns are 0-2? What's the biggest reason? Now, on Facebook, you can give me any reason you like. On X, it's the poll version, and I've given you 4 choices. A, Kevin Stefanski. B, Andrew Berry. C, the players. D, Jimmy Haslam. At 1310 WDPN on X, you can take the poll quiz right now. Put your vote in. So far, 8% say Kevin Stefanski. 15% say it's the players. 23% say it's Andrew Berry. 54% blame Jimmy Haslam. Right on. Right on, folks. That's where it starts. That's where it ends. That's why. That's why they are one of the most dysfunctional franchises in all of professional sports. All of professional sports, not just the NFL. Major League Baseball, the NBA, the National Hockey League. And yes, it's embarrassed, and they should be embarrassed. Apparently, they're not embarrassed enough. Jackson on Facebook says, Sam, the owner. Can't imagine working for a guy like him. Jerry says, it starts with ownership 99.9% of the time, and here we are. George D says, hey, it's the general manager. It's Andrew Berry. He traded three top draft choices for a broken down physically and spiritually quarterback that nobody else wanted. And he doesn't want to be there either. Samuel says it's the incompetent owner. Tracy D, she says it's the line. The line is old in making quote-unquote business decisions for their career. Ooh, I like that one, Tracy. That's a great comment right there. You watch and see. What are we, two games in? Wait till we get to about week 7, week 11. There's going to be more players on this team making business decisions for themselves. You watch. You watch. Dan says it's the ownership, although he spelled ownership a little differently. He put a T in where the P goes. Very nice. Doug says, hey, Sam, it starts with the ownership and it all goes down the line. Robin says, Haslam, hands down, worst owner in sports. Jim K says, I'd love to say the owners, but he is trying to put money on what the general manager says are the right players. Who hired the general manager? Who hired Andrew Barry? He's definitely not been cheap. I have to say the GM and the scouting staff, they have stunk and stunk consistently. Okay, I'll meet you halfway. I'll meet you halfway there. But Jimmy Haslam hires people. He fires people. Maybe not the right ones on both sides. How about this from Brent? Art Modell, when the city messed him over, he put a super curse on them. Just give up. No Super Bowl ever for Cleveland. Sundays are much better spent going to church. Chad says, Sam, the biggest reason the Browns are 0-2, the Bengals and the Ravens. George says, first game it was the kicker. Yesterday it was the sputtering offense. Donald says, Sam, I'm just going to tell it like it is. They are the worst team in the NFL. I guess I'm being serious here. Do you think they are the worst team in the NFL? Carolina's bad. Saints are bad. Jets are bad. But are the Browns the worst in the league? Text me, 330-924-7088. Drop your comments on our social media platforms. I was kind of going to save that question for like week 6. Are the Browns the worst franchise in the league? Oh, my God. Well, what's the biggest reason that the Browns have started 0-2? Give me your thoughts. We'll pass them along. We'll take a break. It's the Sam Bourquin Show, 1310 WDPN.
You've always enjoyed an active lifestyle, hiking with family, resort vacations, the occasional trip to the spa, and nights out with friends at your favorite restaurants. You want and need your lifestyle to follow you into your retirement years. Now, imagine a place with peaceful surroundings, resort amenities, and easy access to city life. It's just around the corner at Copeland Oaks. Copeland Oaks has earned a reputation as more than a retirement destination, but also a place to call home. An independent consultant for senior living rated Copeland Oaks with a perfect score, and it's easy to see why. Maintain your lifestyle on the beautiful Copeland Oaks campus with all the amenities you love, and if you need it down the road, assistance is there. Keep living your life to its fullest at Copeland Oaks, your all-inclusive senior living resort. Visit CopelandOaks.com for more information. That's CopelandOaks.com.
Hey, Max, you look absolutely dashing in that purple tie. Ready to harness the world?
You bet, Daisy. I'm ready as I'll ever be. And might I say, your purple tie really pops with your vest.
Thanks. I almost went with a cape, but didn't want to come across as pretentious.
Nonsense. Anyone in our line of work should rock a cape.
You might be onto something, Max.
Phew, so here we go. First day on the job. We've got this, right?
Right. Don't forget, we both graduated from Dogs Inc. with honors.
Which means I can guide my human around a busy city with ease.
And I can give my human a restful night.
I hope my human is kind and loving.
And I hope mine likes wet kisses and zoomies.
Ready to make a difference?
Born ready. Let's go.
Discover how extraordinary dogs like Daisy and Max change lives at no cost to the recipients. Visit dogsinc.org.
$13.10 WDPN. We've got about 3 minutes until the bottom of the hour. All the news and weather coming your way. Then one more big hour to go. Don't forget, about 5:27 today on this day in sports history. Also, our Sam Bourquin Show poll question of the day is, who is most at fault for the Browns starting the season 0-2? Let us know. Over the weekend, Buckeyes win over OU 37-9. That was a very critical half point there. Purple Raiders took care of their business. They beat Grove City 49-14. Raiders are off this week. They'll be at Baldwin Wallace a week from this Saturday. We'll have it here on 1310 WDPN. So last night, Dylan and I went to see the movie The Long Walk over at Tinseltown. Good movie. I didn't know what to expect. Now, we've been to so many movies lately. We kept seeing this preview for The Long Walk. So we knew what we were going to get into, but we really didn't. I thought it was really well done. And I completely forgot that Mark Hamill, Luke from Star Wars, was in the movie. And he did a great job. The acting was, I thought it was really good. Now, don't go for excitement, because it's basically following 50 guys around on a walk, on a street or a road. And the crux of the movie is, and I'm not going to tell you how it ends, but the last person walking is the winner. It's intense. It's very intense, but the script, I thought it was really well done. So I would give that one. I know it got 90% Rotten Tomatoes, so it was really good. We saw Weapons a couple of weeks ago. I thought that was really good. We're still on the fence about going to see The Conjuring, The Last Rites. I want to go. I've heard like 50-50. 50% like it, 50% and that wasn't very good. But I need a good old I need some comments from you out there on The Conjuring, The Last Rites. What did you think? Is it worth going to see? I just need like a little nudge, and we're gonna go. Just a little nudge, because I think it's still going to be out for a couple of more weeks at least, especially with Halloween coming up here pretty soon. But yeah, I thought The Long Walk, that was very, very good, very well done. All right, news and weather coming up next here on the Sam Bourquin Show. Keep it 1310 WDPN.
Here's the latest news on AM 1310 WDPN.
Good afternoon. It's 4:30. President Trump is demanding NATO countries step up with new sanctions on Russia in order for the U.S. to hit Moscow with sanctions over the war in Ukraine. ABC News Chief White House correspondent Mary Bruce has details.
As Russia steps up its aggression, President Trump is raising new conditions for tough sanctions on Moscow.
Europe is buying oil from Russia. I don't want them to buy oil. And the sanctions that they're putting on are not tough enough. And I'm willing to do sanctions, but they're going to have to toughen up their sanctions commensurate with what I'm doing.
Trump saying he'll sanction Russia, but only if NATO countries do the same.
Vice President J.D. Vance says he'll honor Charlie Kirk by being a better husband and father. Vance commented today while hosting the radio program Once Led by Kirk. The founder of the Turning Point USA political organization was fatally shot last week during an outdoor appearance on a Utah college campus. Vance talked about visiting with Kirk's widow and said she told him her husband had never raised his voice to her and had never been cross or mean-spirited to her. Authorities are preparing to file capital murder charges as early as tomorrow against the 22-year-old suspect in Kirk's slaying, Tyler Robinson. Maureen Comey claims in a new lawsuit that her firing from the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Southern District of New York was unlawful, unconstitutional, and probably happened because her father is James Comey, the former FBI director. ABC's Chuck Sievertson reports.
The lawsuit calls her firing in July politically motivated. As President Trump, the Justice Department, Attorney General Pam Bondi, and other defendants did not identify a cause or provide her due process. Her attorneys say Maureen Comey was assigned to prosecute high-profile defendants like Sean Combs and public corruption cases. They say the president lacks authority to fire ordinary federal prosecutors who are career civil servants for perceived disloyalty.
Israel and the United States have shown a unified front amid international criticism over Israel's airstrikes on Hamas leaders in Qatar and its bombardment of Gaza City. Today, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and Secretary of State Marco Rubio stood together in Jerusalem, downplaying the situation. Despite President Trump's displeasure over Israel's unilateral strike in Qatar, both leaders agree that the only way to end the conflict is through the elimination of Hamas and the release of all hostages. Rubio will head to Qatar next. Israel continues its offensive in Gaza City, urging Palestinians to evacuate as strikes intensify. It's 83 degrees in Alliance at 432. This is WDPN News. I'm Jeff Mears.
Now, the Alliance Area Weather Forecast on AM 1310 WDPN.
Sunshine in the forecast for this afternoon with a high near 85 degrees. Tonight, partly cloudy skies, a low 56. Sunny Tuesday, a high near 83. Sunny Wednesday, a high near 82. Sunny Thursday, a high near 85. That's your WDPN weather.
Welcome back to the Sam Bourquin Show, AM 1310 WDPN. You can text the show, 330-924-7088. You can drop some comments to us with all of our social media platforms. Sam, the Browns are so bad. It says, Sam, the Browns are so bad, I'm ashamed of myself for still planning my Sunday afternoons around them. Shame on me. Sam, what about Joe Flacco? Feel bad for the guy. He doesn't really deserve this. Yes, he knew what he was signing up for, but I still feel bad for him. Yep, I can see that. Absolutely. Sam, to answer your question, ownership, you know what rolls downhill? Well, there's a lot of it rolling down the hill right now. Sam, longtime season ticket holder here. I cannot believe I have had them for over 25 years. Somebody please breathe some sense into me. Love the show. Keep up the good work. Sam, the Browns lost me 10 years ago. I'll never come back. Let me see here. What is this Cleveland Browns team you speak of? Carry on, sir. Sam, since the Browns came back in 1999, I cannot any longer create. Okay, I can't create false rooting or interest in this team. The organization has shoved me away. Okay, I get it. Completely understand. Sam, another one feels bad for Joe Flacco. Get him out of there before he gets hurt. They're not going anywhere anyway. Sam, I can't believe it. I got sucked in again. I will never learn. Smiley face emoji. Hashtag go Browns. Why are the Cleveland Browns 0-2? What's the biggest reason that they are 0-2? Is it Jimmy? Is it Andrew Berry? Is it Stefanski? Is it the play? Why are they 0-2 this year? And I've even had a couple folks here at the office say, well, they almost beat the Bengals. They should be 1-1. And okay. So if Andrew Schmidt makes a field goal or makes all of his extra points, maybe they are 1-1. Maybe they are. And maybe there would have been some feel good heading into the game at Baltimore. I don't care if you were 10-0, you weren't beating the Baltimore Ravens yesterday. You weren't beating them. And they didn't really play like unbelievable, hey, we're in the hunt for the Super Bowl kind of Baltimore Raven football yesterday. Like they gave up a lot of yards. They pounced on some turnovers. They made some plays. Lamar was Lamar, but they weren't like spectacular. They weren't like, this team is going to the AFC Championship. But they didn't have to be. And they probably had a little hangover after the Buffalo game the week before. They didn't have to be perfect. They didn't have to look like a team that was going to go to the Super Bowl. But they didn't have to be. And they still scored 41 points and gave up 17. And look, the one touchdown, it was an accident. It should have never even happened. So guess what? I'm not going to count it. So they won 41-10. And the last touchdown from Dylan Gabriel, that looked like a preseason game. There was nobody in the stadium. Hardly any starters were on the field. And they scored a garbage touchdown. That's all that was. So in my mind, you really only, the scoreboard says you scored 17. In my mind, you only scored 3. That touchdown pass to Tillman was a fluke. It was an accident. And then Gabriel down at the end, nobody cared at that point. Go ahead. Go down and score. We'll give you the yardage. Let's get out of here and go home. But that's the way I look at it. I look at it with a little bit of a tainted view, which is probably different than others. I look at it a little bit more realistically. And I get it. Fan is short for what? Fanaticism. I get it. Brown and orange glasses. I get it. Here we go, Brownies. Here we go. Ooh, ooh. I get it. I don't understand it, but I get it. But I see 41-3 on that scoreboard. If we're being honest with ourselves, it was a 41-3 game. Hello, that's a 38-point butt whipping. And at that point, I don't care if you beat Cincinnati the week before, because that was gross yesterday. Absolutely gross. Now you got the Green Bay Packers are coming to town on Sunday, 1 o'clock at the stadium. Green Bay is an 8.5-point favorite already. That line will go up. Jordan Love, Micah Parsons. Oh, my God, Micah Parsons. He's probably already got a napkin and utensils and wipes ready for Sunday. He's probably already frothing at the mouth knowing he gets to go to Huntington Bank Field and play against the Browns on Sunday. Micah might have 5 sacks, 2 or 3 or 4 TFLs. Why have the Browns started 0-2? What's the biggest reason? And where do you sit now with the whole quarterback situation? Do you keep riding with Joe, or do you want to make a move? Me personally, I don't think it really matters what they do. I think they're going to ride with Flacco at least for another. I think they're going to ride. I think they're going to ride for another 4 games, maybe another 4 or 5. Because at the end of the day, let's not get this twisted. They're not trying to win. They're not trying to win. Now, you could say, well, Sam, if they're not trying to win, then why don't you just throw Gabriel out there or throw Sanders out there? Throw Deshaun back out there. Have you seen his stuff on Instagram the last couple days? He looks like he's ready to go. Looks like he's completely healed. I don't know. I don't know what do you do with that? Do you think there's a chance he takes a snap for the Browns this year, Deshaun? From what we hear, from what I gather, Shador's not even doing scout team. He's not even getting scout team reps with the Browns. Nothing. Wouldn't that be something? I wonder if he's even on the roster by the end of the year. I know it all depends how it goes, and I think we all know how it's going to go. At some point, they're going to sit Flacco, and they're going to run Gabriel out there, see what he can do. He might do well, might not. At some point, you may see Sanders out there. He might do well, he might not. And who knows what our situation will be by then as far as health, offensive line, running back, skilled players, where the attitude of the team is, where the attitude of the front office is. We had someone on Facebook or X say something about, pretty soon some guys are going to be making some business decisions, especially some of the guys on our offensive line. And that goes for the rest of the team. If you're, 2-8, 3-11, guys are going to make business decisions. And that has a way of affecting everybody else on the field that day. And then that's sometimes when things really come unhinged. And then what do you start talking? What do people start talking about? Has coach lost the locker room? Do they need a new voice? Is it time for a change? Should Andrew Berry go? What is Paul DePodesta still doing on the payroll of the Cleveland Browns? This guy has pulled off one of the greatest fleeces in the history of America. Paul DePodesta, cashing checks from the Cleveland Browns every 2 weeks. Paul DePodesta. Are you kidding me? And then after you started hearing this for several weeks, and not just from me, but from the fans, from the people in Ohio, the season ticket holders, the other media up in the Cleveland area, the national media, then what's going to happen? Owners don't like being embarrassed. Owners don't want to look embarrassed. Well, quit doing stupid stuff and you won't be. Quit making dumb decisions and you won't be. You can't fire the owner. Owner's not going to fire himself. They don't like being embarrassed. They don't like having that dirty laundry aired out there. They don't like people talking about their bad business decisions, their bad drafting, their bad selection of people to run the franchise. And after they hear that, day after day after day, they read it day after day after day. And maybe they're told it from personal friends day after day after day. You know what happens? They wipe everybody out. They fire everybody. And they start over again. You could see that. I could honestly see that. But again, this is my opinion. They're not trying to win. So Haslam, Jimmy and D, they can't really get angry are mad or distraught over what's going on with Andrew Barry and Kevin Stefanski. And I think, Jim Schwartz he's just a guy. He's just a guy. But they're not going to get mad at them. At least they shouldn't, because they know the position that they've put these guys in. They know the position they've put Joe Flacco in. Joe's a pro. He won't say anything. He knows. He knows what's on the menu. He's just being a pro. He knew before he came back here. He knew what was going on. Well, yes, of course, he's going to cash a check. Of course. Joe would probably be happier not playing at this point. But he knew. He knew what he signed up for. He knew what was going on. Probably had great intentions coming in. Probably saw a few things and said, hey, maybe we do this, we do that, we catch a couple of breaks, we win maybe 7-8 games, maybe we get a little. That's just how it's going right now. That's the way it is. But when you're to me, I don't think the Haslams have any expectations right now. They can't come out and say that. They can't act like it. They can't make comments like it. But this is all part of the deal. This is the plan. They're not trying to be good. They're not trying to be good. They told you that the way they drafted. And I'm not saying anything bad about the players that they took. But they showed you that they're not trying to win right now. They came out and they told you. Not only did they tell you, they showed you. This is right where they want to be. It's right where they want to be. And they're not going to do anything to screw that up right now by switching people out, letting people go, telling the coach to bench people. This is what they want. And I told everybody, I got up on top of the mountain a month ago, 6 weeks ago. I said, this team is not going to win 5 games. They're not going to win 5 games. And that's with, on paper, semi-easier road to go after you play these first 6. I mean, you got the Patriots on there. You got the Jets on there. You got the Dolphins on there. I think you got the Titans on there. On paper, you'd think, oh, yeah, they'd probably win 2, maybe 3 of those. That doesn't mean anything. They'll lose. They will lose the majority of those games. That's what losing teams do. They lose. That's what they do. Do you think that the Cleveland Browns, in a realistic world, are going to beat the Green Bay Packers next Sunday at home? No way. No way. And you know what? Jimmy's okay with that. Jimmy's okay with that. It's the big master plan. But I don't know how this plan ends. I don't know how this story ends long term. Short term, I can tell you what's going to happen. What you're seeing this year and what you saw last year and probably what you're going to see next year. That's all fact. That's all right there in front of you. That doesn't lie. That video doesn't lie. But that's where we're at. Let's take a break. 8 minutes till the top of the hour. It's the Sam Bourquin Show right here, AM 1310 WDPN. Stay with us.
Do you have trouble getting in and out of the bathtub? Are you afraid you'll slip and fall entering or exiting a tub? Safe Step walk-in tubs can transform your bathtub from an area of concern to a calming refuge. Call them today at 1-800-498-2098 and save $1,600. Safe Step walk-in tubs and showers are proudly made in Tennessee and offer an ultra-low step-in, avoiding that difficult climb over a traditional bathtub wall. They also offer a variety of therapeutic benefits that may help soothe your aching muscles and joints, increasing your mobility, boosting your energy, and improving your sleep. Safe Step walk-in tubs are designed to easily fit your existing tub space and are often installed in as little as one day. Just dial 1-800-498-2098 today to save $1,600 and receive a free shower package. That's 1-800-498-2098 for a free no-obligation consultation and to save $1,600. Safe Step walk-in tubs. Safety never felt so good.
Teachers are dynamic leaders shaping a new generation. They bring a variety of perspectives from diverse backgrounds, innovating how they teach to prepare students for our fast-changing world. They're skilled experts, discovering a universe of solutions, telling stories, inspiring, mentoring, connecting cultures, leading by example. Teaching is a journey that shapes lives. Are you ready? Explore teaching at teach.org, supported by the U.S. Department of Education and 1 million teachers of color.
This place has a pulse. You hear it in the canopy, feel it in the ground. Life, fully illuminated, engulfs you. From the birds singing in the treetops above to the tiniest insects in the soil below, you take a deep, cleansing breath, filling your lungs with the essence of the forest. Now, imagine it's all gone. Healthy, life-giving forests reduced to nothing. No singing birds, no lush canopy, and water and food in short supply around the world. Time is running out to protect our forests, and without our love, they can and will disappear. It's our choice. Love it or lose it. Help protect our forests. Visit World Wildlife Fund at wwf.org/love.
You got me running, baby. You give me something way beyond.
1310 WDPN. You can watch and listen to our show on our WDPN pages on X, on Facebook, the Q92 radio page on YouTube. What's up to everybody out there watching us on YouTube today? News and weather coming up here in about 5 minutes. The text line is open, 330-924-7088. Text line, 330-924-7088. High school football over the weekend. Spend a couple of minutes on this before we get to the top of the hour. I did the Louisville-Marlington game on Friday night. Leopards rolled to a victory there. Played really well. Kind of opened things up there a little bit in the second half. They will North Canton, Hoover, and Louisville this Friday. Both teams are 4-0. The game is at Louisville. That is going to be a fantastic high school football game and a fantastic high school football atmosphere in Louisville Friday night. If you don't, and I'm talking to Hoover fans, Louisville, Stark County, if you don't get your tickets early, you may not get in Friday night. Weather's going to be fantastic again. This is an old rivalry, doesn't kind of get the juice that it used to. but the communities really love this game, and it's going to be incredible. Friday night, 4-0 Hoover, 4-0 Louisville. Maslin got back on the winning track over the weekend. Tigers, I think, are going to be just fine. McKinley, 38-0 win over Glen Oak. The Bulldogs are 3-1. They have got Perry coming up this weekend. How about the Aviators? Another road win. 26-0 over Ellet. The Aviators, folks, are 3-1. You know who their only loss was to? Louisville. Alliance is playing good football. They will be at Mount Union this Friday to take on Canton Central Catholic. That's our 1310 WDPN radio game this Friday. You can join myself and Caleb Norick with the 6:30 or so pregame, and we'll kick it off at 7. The Aviators and the Crusaders this Friday night. Alliance is really good. They're really playing good ball. Central's been struggling. Injury bug, man. Injury bug. Quarterback. They got some other guys that have been dinged up a little bit. They're very young. That was unusual for Central last year, I think, and I can't remember what Coach Linda Smith said. They had 24 seniors. That's a lot. That's a lot. For a D5, that's a lot of kids to graduate off the team. So they've been kind of struggling a little bit, but you know they're going to play hard. They'll play hard Friday night. So we'll have that one here on 1310 WDPN. The Hoover Louisville game is going to be magic. And of course, this week is what? Week 5, halfway point. But that should be a heck of a game. That's going to be a great game. The Buckeyes are off this weekend. They will be in Washington a week from this Saturday. By the way, they came out with the starting time today. The Buckeyes and the Huskies will be at 3:30 Eastern time a week from this Saturday. Mount Union bye week this week. They will be at Baldwin Wallace a week from this Saturday at 1:30. We'll have the broadcast, of course, here on 1310 WDPN. Man, week 5, high school already. Holy smokes. Coming up later on this week, we will have Antonio Hall, Q92 Sports, breaking down the high school football scene for us on Wednesday at 5:35, like Coach Hall always does. We will be talking with Steve King from the Browns Daily Dose coming up this week, probably Tuesday or Wednesday. Might reach out to some of our good folks up in Cleveland. We'll talk maybe a little Guardians this week. If they get hot, well, heck, they're 9-1 in their last 10. But if they take a couple against the Tigers and the Astros and Rangers blow a few, things are really going to get interesting there. So we'll talk a little Guards, maybe get a guest or two on this week as well. Don't forget Ross Benjamin, wagertalk.com. He'll handicap the college and pro football games for us Thursday at 4:35. So we got lots coming up here this week. All right. What do you say? Let's hang out. All right. News and weather coming up right now. 1310 WDPN.
The latest news and the current Alliance area weather forecast are up next on AM 1310 WDPN Alliance.
ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. Memphis could become the next city President Trump sends National Guard troops to, he says, to help curb crime. The mayor of Memphis says city data shows crime has fallen in the past year. Democrats like Congressman Steve Cohen, who represents areas of Memphis, admits crime needs to come down further, but city plans are working.
It's high, but the National Guard won't stop that. Working with the FBI, which we've done, working with DEA, which we've done, and working with ATF would help. Those groups know how to police. They know police law, they know police strategy. They know how to patrol.
Tennessee's Republican governor says he is working with the president. Utah authorities say Tyler Robinson, the suspect in the fatal shooting of conservative activist Charlie Kirk, could be formally charged as soon as tomorrow. A motive for the killing still unknown. The Senate says it will take up a vote on the nomination of Stephen Myron, the top Trump economic advisor, to serve out an unexpired term on the Federal Reserve Board. They begin their policy meeting on interest rates tomorrow. This is ABC News.
The post-crib assembly press conference brought to you by Progressive.
Michael, you had some trouble putting the crib together today. What went wrong?
You know, those instructions can be tough, and, well, you saw the outcome.
Were you upset when your wife pulled you and called in the backup?
No, I mean, the baby needs a crib to sleep in, so whatever it takes.
You've got a changing table to put together next. It's got a lot of drawers. What's your comment?
You know what? We're done here.
Like it or not, sometimes you need a backup. That's why there's Progressive to protect your home and auto. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
With Robinhood, not only can you trade individual stocks and ETFs, you can also seamlessly buy and sell crypto at low costs. Trade all in one place. Get started now on Robinhood. Trading crypto involves significant risk. Crypto trading is offered through an account with Robinhood Crypto LLC. Robinhood Crypto is licensed to engage in virtual currency business activity by the New York State Department of Financial Services. Crypto held through Robinhood Crypto is not FDIC insured or SIPC protected. Investing involves risk, including loss of principal. Securities trading is offered through an account with Robinhood Financial LLC, member SIPC, a registered broker-dealer.
Now, the latest Alliance area news from Jeff Mears on AM 1310 WDPN.
Good afternoon. It's 5:02. Report cards for Ohio school districts and individual schools are out. They were released by the State Department of Education and Workforce. The Performance Index is used to rate schools from 1 to 5 stars. Ratings are based on performance on state tests during the 2024-25 school year. Districts were evaluated on achievement, gap closing, early literacy, progress, and graduation. Jackson, Lake, North Canton, and Tuslaw received 4.5 stars, as did West Branch. Receiving 4 stars were Canton Local, Louisville, Minerva, and Northwest. Fairless, Marlington, Osnaburg, Perry, Plain, and Sandy Valley got 3.5. Sebring, United, and Waterloo also received 3.5. Alliance, Brown Local, Salem, and Southeast got 3 stars. 2.5 stars went to Canton City and Massillon. A man is accused in the death of a homeless man in Canton. 44-year-old Justin Ove of Canton was arrested Friday on a warrant charging him with murder and felonious assault. He was arraigned today in Canton Municipal Court. Bond was set at $1 million. Police and firefighters were called to the 1300 block of Wernet Court Southwest Wednesday. Ove allegedly shot John Lee in his tent behind Renner's Plumbing Supply. A small propane tank caught a tent on fire, but it was quickly put out. Lee was taken to Altman Hospital, where he died of his injuries. Ove is scheduled to return to court Wednesday for a status conference. A man is charged with domestic violence and endangering children following a shooting in Canton. 24-year-old Coy Stillwagon of Louisville was arrested following the Sunday afternoon incident. Police were called to the 2200 block of Bollinger Avenue Northeast. Stillwagon reportedly was attempting suicide when his wife stopped him. During the struggle for the weapon, she was shot in the leg. The woman was taken to a hospital. Police say Stillwagon's 3 children were in the car with his wife at the time. He is scheduled for arraignment tomorrow in Canton Municipal Court. U.S. Marshals are searching for a man wanted on a rape charge in Massillon. The Northern Ohio Violent Fugitive Task Force says 30-year-old Tyler Anderson is described as white, about 5'7", and weighs roughly 155 pounds. He also is wanted by the Stark County Sheriff's Office for violating probation in cases involving felonious assault and domestic violence. Anderson has ties to Akron and Cleveland and should be considered armed and dangerous. Anyone with information on his whereabouts can call 1-866-4-WANTED or submit a tip through the U.S. Marshals website. Tips can be anonymous and a reward may be offered. A Massillon man arrested after a police chase missed his court appearance in West Virginia. 41-year-old Van Jones was scheduled to appear in Hancock County Magistrate Court Thursday on charges of fleeing, receiving stolen property, and driving with a suspended license. Jones is accused of leading a Columbiana County Sheriff's deputy and East Liverpool police officer on a pursuit in a stolen vehicle from Route 39 to the Chester exit on Route 30. He missed the hearing because he was in the Stark County Jail, facing charges including robbery, strangulation, and intimidation. Jones also is charged with violating a protection order. Another hearing in Hancock County is set for October 7th. A suit has been filed against the Hall of Fame Village, alleging it has not paid a company that provided equipment and manpower for a concert last year. The invoices for nearly $268,000 do not specify a concert, but coincide with dates surrounding the concert for Legends with Carrie Underwood. The most recent date of invoice is April 12th. The Dallas-based Freeman Company reportedly provided rented equipment, pre-production labor, shipping, freight, and show labor between August 1st and 4th of 2024. A change of plea hearing is scheduled Wednesday in federal court for a man charged in a nationwide elder fraud scheme. Yash Ravel was arrested in November 2023 while picking up cash from an alleged victim, a 77-year-old Salem man. Authorities say he was defrauded out of about $61,000. 6 people in 5 states were targeted, with losses totaling $4.8 million. The scam involved tricking victims into believing their computers were hacked and their identities stolen. They were pressured to send large sums of money to people posing as representatives of Microsoft or their financial institutions. 2 co-defendants are in plea negotiations with federal prosecutors. The 3 suspects are charged with money laundering. The trial of a man charged in the shooting death of a girl at a Youngstown restaurant has been delayed until October 27th. 18-year-old Daniel Sellers was scheduled to be tried today in Mahoning County Common Pleas Court. His defense attorney filed a motion for a continuance. The request came after prosecutors submitted additional witnesses and evidence. The motion was granted by Judge Anthony D'Appolito. Sellers is charged with murder, felonious assault, and involuntary manslaughter in the April 2023 slaying of 15-year-old Amaya Montserrat. She was shot during a fight that broke out at a birthday party at a tavern on Southern Boulevard. 23-year-old Son Peterson is awaiting sentencing after pleading guilty to involuntary manslaughter and other charges. 3 men are jailed on charges stemming from a fight at a wedding party Saturday night. Boardman police were called to a restaurant on McClurg Road and found about 20 people yelling at each other outside the main entrance. Pepper spray was used to disperse the crowd. Those arrested were 28-year-old Alexander Holmes of Warren, 32-year-old Spiros Theophilus, and 57-year-old John Holmes, both of Tampa, Florida. Alexander Holmes allegedly refused to leave the scene. Theophilus is accused of punching an officer in the neck. A taser was used to subdue him. John Holmes allegedly hit another man who refused treatment. Alexander Holmes and Theophilus are charged with obstructing official business and resisting arrest. Theophilus and John Holmes are charged with assault. A Ravenna man is dead following a motorcycle crash in Summit County Sunday afternoon. Around 4:30, 69-year-old Dragan Sirik was southbound on State Route 8 in Northfield when his motorcycle went off the right side of the road, struck a curb and a utility pole near milepost 21. The Highway Patrol says he was taken to Hillcrest Hospital where he died. Sirik was not wearing a helmet at the time of the wreck. The patrol says it's not known if alcohol and drugs were factors. An investigation continues. Akron police are investigating a shooting outside a local vape shop. Officers responded to Vapes R Us on South Hawkins Avenue around 4:45 Saturday afternoon. Police found a 23-year-old man who had been shot in the leg. He was taken to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. According to police, a group of people sitting in a car outside the store got into an argument. Someone fired a shot inside the vehicle. The suspect fled the scene, but officers caught up with him a few minutes later. Police have not identified the suspect or said if anyone is facing charges. Ohio Congresswoman Mary Rose Ogar, who was the first Democratic woman elected to Congress from Ohio, has died. She served 8 terms from 1977 to 1983. Ogar passed away at the age of 85 Saturday. The first Ohio woman elected to Congress was Republican Frances Payne Bolton, who was elected to the House in 1940. She lost her seat to redistricting in 1968. Taking a look at Wall Street, the Dow Jones Industrial Average closed today at 45,878, up 45 points. The Nasdaq Composite ended the day 208 points higher at 22,348, and the S&P 500 closed at 6,612, up 28 points. We have the following funeral announcements. The service for 81-year-old H. Lee Edwards of Alliance will be held Saturday at noon at Casa de Turco Christian. The service for 90-year-old Clarence A. Warner will be held Wednesday at 1 at Casa de Turco Christian. The service for 100-year-old Mary Louise McMillan Ford of Sebring will be held Saturday at 11 at the Bennett Chapel, Copeland Oaks. Arrangements by Casa de Turco Christian. And there will be no services for 87-year-old Larry E. Lynn of Salem. Arrangements by Scherer Sterling Skivalaki. It's 83 degrees in Alliance at 5:09. This is the local edition of WDPN News. I'm Jeff Mears.
Here's the latest forecast on AM 1310 WDPN.
Forecast for this afternoon calling for sunshine at a high near 85 degrees. Tonight, partly cloudy, a low down to 56. Tuesday, sunny, a high near 83. Sunshine returns Wednesday with a high of 82. More sun Thursday, a high near 85. That's your WDPN weather.
Live from the AM 1310 WDPN studio, it's time for live and local sports talk. It's the Sam Bourquin Show.
I'm ready.
Give the show a call at 330-821-1310.
Good call, meatball.
Watch the Sam Bourquin Show on the AM 1310 Facebook page, the Q92 YouTube page, and on X. This is the Sam Bourquin Show on AM 1310 WDPN.
Lions off to the right. Flacco out of the gun, looking to throw. Throws to the right. It's up for grabs, and it's caught. It was deflected. It was deflected by Humphrey and caught for a touchdown by Cedric Tillman. On the defensive end, Flacco drops back to pass. Pockets collapsing. He's sacked and he lost the football. It's picked up by Roquan Smith. Roquan Smith could go the whole way. He is going to go the whole way. Trying to go up 2 scores, and they're going to keep it conservative for Myers. Walker on the run. He may bust the touchdown. He will. Backbreaker from Kenneth Walker III, and Seattle jumps out by 2 scores. Line drive, left center field, racing back Fletcher, won't get it. It'll go to the wall. Quan scores the tie run. Jose on his heels with the go-ahead run. Big Bo delivers with a 2-out, 2-run double to put the Guardians in front. Alonso drives one to deep right field, headed toward the wall. That ball is out of here. Pete Alonso wins it with an opposite field 3-run homer. The Mets put the 8-game losing streak behind them. Ground ball up the middle, diving stop by Rocchio. Unbelievable! Man. Book it, baby. 3-2.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Guards win. They're 78-71, and don't look now. They are 2.5 games out of that wild card spot. 2.5. Off today. In Detroit, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Can they? No. Can they? Maybe. Maybe. We're 149 games in. We've got 13 to go. 13 to go. That's it. They got a shot. Welcome into the Sam Bourquin Show. How we doing, everybody? Welcome in, AM 1310 WDPN. Welcome into our social media platforms, WDPN, Facebook, X, the Q92 radio page on YouTube. You can always text the show, 330-924-7088. Cleveland Browns football. You know, I'm gonna take responsibility on this one. I'm going to send the audio to my producer, Ryan Rainsberg, because we're going to need it. We're going to need it pretty much every Monday. And you guys know the song I'm talking about. Yakety Sax. We're gonna get that in the system. It'll be ready to go next Monday, I promise you, at 3:00.
You just sent me that, Sam. I'm all over
I'm all over. I should have done it today. I had too much going on. But Yakety Sax will be a staple. Every time we talk about the Browns on this show, between now and the middle of January, when the season comes to an end. And we'll be able to splice in the bad plays, the lowlights, and Yakety Sax will be in the background. I'm really looking forward to it. I'm sick. Hey, if look, laugh or cry. I'm done crying about this team. I'm just going to laugh. I'm going to try to have some nice belly laughs. I'm going to try to burn some calories. And that's just how I'm going to approach it. Just have fun. Take it for what it is. Take it for what it is. Ew, we're only 2 games into 17. We got 15 more to go. Packers coming in. Yep. And then who? Who's after the Packers? Lions? Yep. Then the Vikings. That'll be in London. And then I think we go to Pittsburgh. It may have one of those mixed up, but that's pretty much like the first 6 weeks of the year. Oh, yeah. Yakety Sax will be on a loop. You have my word on it. All right, 41-17 in the crapper yesterday. They looked awful from the word go. No surprise. Turned it off in the second quarter. Turned it off. Went outside. Sat on the patio. And then Dylan and I, Mom was out running errands yesterday, so we went to 3 or 4 Halloween stores yesterday. You know we did. Made a little purchase. Another animatronic for the front yard. Then we went to, had a little Cane's yesterday. And then about 6:30, we went out over to Tinseltown and we watched the movie The Long Walk. Yeah, we had a great time. So much more fun than sitting in the house on a beautiful sunny Sunday and wasting it on watching it with the guys with the orange helmets. Such a great day yesterday. Now, I know last night I watched all the Browns, the highlight shows on. I do enjoy watching the Sunday night sports shows on Cleveland TV. I usually watch Channel 3 with my guy Nick Camino. That's my go-to Sunday night. And then when that's over, I'll flip over to NFL Network. Then I'll watch that for about an hour. Then it's like 1:30, time to go to bed. So, but I find that a much better way to spend my Sundays than staying inside on a nice day. And that's what I will continue to do. The Sam Bourquin Show poll question of the day. In your opinion, what's the biggest reason the Browns have started the year 0-2? What's the biggest reason that you think that they are 0-2? On X, I give you 4 choices. On Facebook, you can just you can write whatever answer in you would like. But on X, on 1310 WDPN, who's most at fault for the Browns starting 0-2? Is it A, Kevin Stefanski, B, Andrew Berry, C, the players, or is it D, Jimmy Haslam? So far, poll's been open for about 2 hours. 50% say Jimmy Haslam is the biggest reason. 19% say the players. 19% of you say Andrew Berry. 13% of you say Kevin Stefanski. At AM 1310 WDPN on X or Twitter, take the poll question there. Give us your vote. We'll give you the final results before we get out of here at 6 o'clock tonight. Now, if you go over to Facebook, you can check it out on my Facebook page. What's the biggest reason why the Browns are 0-2? I did not put it in a poll form. I just kind of left it open to you. Just kind of fill in the blank. Why do you think the Browns are 0-2? What's the biggest reason that they're 0-2? A lot of you have said it's the ownership. General manager. Jerry says it start with the ownership. Frank says Andrew Berry, get him out of here. Marcus says it's the ownership. You know what rolls downhill? Look out below. Tracy, it's the owners. Dan, it's Haslam. Please sell. Robin, Jimmy Haslam, hands down. Brent says, what a mess. What a mess. Georgianne says, it's been a mess since they came back. Part of it, I will blame, Georgia says, part of it, I will actually blame the NFL. Fair enough. I would agree, too. I would say that, yeah. But you know what? That was 1999. This is 2025. That's a long time ago. And even if the NFL did screw the Browns, and they did, and they screwed Cleveland, and they did, you have to find a way to get over that by now. It's been 26 years. You need to figure out a way to get over the shortcomings that were bestowed upon you by the league and get and put your big boy pants on and get things turned around. And I have a bad habit of looking in the rearview mirror a lot and blaming stuff that happened 10, 15, 20, 30 years ago, whatever it is. We can't do that anymore. You have had over a quarter of a century to somehow figure things out and get them right. And you haven't done it. You haven't done it. Ramo says the owners, bam. Frank says from top to bottom, everyone involved in that organization. Mike says Paul D. Podesta and Andrew Berry put the team together. The owner is the owner. Nothing we can do about it. Okay, then why in the hell is Paul D. Podesta and Andrew Berry on this team's payroll? Why are they on the payroll? What have they done? I know the owner's the owner. Okay, well, he is writing the checks for Andrew Berry and Paul D. Podesta. So that goes on. That goes on all three. I contribute about as much to the Browns as Paul D. Podesta does. Me, I'm speaking about, and I don't do anything for the Browns. What a fleece job. What a hoodwink. Paul D. Podesta. And Kevin Stefanski's probably going to get fired. Probably wait till the end of the year. You know what? I bet you Bubba Ventrone gets fired. He'll be the first assistant coach to get whacked. He'll be the first scapegoat. Jimmy will flex with his nice, crisp, ironed, button-down polo and his khaki slacks with his belt and his brown loafers. He'll flex in front of the camera and he'll talk about the decision to let Bubba Ventrone go. Or he'll put that on Stefanski. He'll say, Kev, you handle that. I'll sit back and watch the press conference. I'm gonna be busy ripping off truckers. Oops. So that's what'll happen. Bubba will be the first one to go. And then by the end of the year, Stefanski will be let go. And then we'll see about Andrew. Paul D. Podesta must have something on Jimmy. He'll never get fired. Andrew probably will. We'll see. But that's how this is going to go. McHale. Sam, the Browns are rewriting the books on how not to operate a successful franchise. God help them. God help the fans. Robert says the ownership group has to go, but guess what? They can't and won't fire themselves. We're stuck. Penny says, if I had a nickel for every time that I said the Browns were going to be a good football team, laughing emoji, crying emoji, devil-faced emoji. Sam, the Haslams are responsible for this mess, but what can we do as fans besides not go to games? Well, that's one thing you can do is not go to games. But that's the problem. You still go. You still go. I get it, I guess. I get the passionate fan base. I get it that the fact that You grew up being a Browns fan. You're an Ohio I get all that. And I get you want to be there when and if it ever does turn around. And you can say, hey, I never jumped the ship. I've always been there. But I don't know how you put your money with this team. They have done nothing but crap on you for decades. For decades. And we've had this conversation. I've had this conversation with the two other radio stations I've worked at. Look, this is how long this has been going on. This is how long this has been going on. I have had the same discussion about this franchise for 3 different radio stations over 20 plus years. Nothing has changed. Now you're going to build them a new stadium. You're going to build them a multi-billion-dollar dome. How does that grab you? You know, the Denver Broncos are going to move into a retractable stadium, I think in 2030 something. And people are all bent out of shape out there in Denver about, and I agree with them, saying that the Denver Broncos playing indoors is disgusting. It's sacrilegious. I get it. I understand. I agree with you. But at least they're going to do a retractable dome. And guess what? It's all privately funded. Not one penny of taxpayer money is going to build that new stadium for the Denver Broncos. At least they have that. The people are going to pay. The citizens are going to pay, are going to help pay Jimmy Haslam to build that stadium so he can bilk even more millions of dollars out of it and have a terrible product on the field. Holy cannoli. On this day in sports history, 1974, Freddie Lynn of the Boston Red Sox hit a home run in his very first major league at bat. 1978, folks, I remember this. I was 8 years old. But I remember Muhammad Ali defeated Leon Spinks to win his 3rd heavyweight boxing championship. On this day in 1978, the LA Dodgers became the first Major League Baseball team to pass the 3 million mark in home attendance. And they're still breaking records. They're getting 53,000 every game in Chavez Ravine. Let's see here. 1997, Ken Griffey Jr. of the Mariners hit his 51st and 52nd home runs to become the 6th player to hit 100 or more home runs over 2 consecutive seasons. He had hit 49 home runs the previous year. Kurt Schilling of the Diamondbacks struck out 8 to reach 300 for the season. Schilling and the big unit Randy Johnson became the first teammates in baseball history to each strike out 300 in the same season. That's a look at On This Day in Sports History. We'll come back after the news and weather. Stay with us, 1310 WDPN.
Now, the latest area news on AM 1310 WDPN.
Good afternoon. It's 5:30. A framework deal has been reached between China and the U.S. for the ownership of TikTok. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent said today after trade talks in Madrid that President Trump and Chinese Premier Xi Jinping would speak Friday to possibly finalize the deal. Bessent says the objective of the agreement would be to switch to U.S. ownership. China's official news agency reports China's international trade representative says the sides have reached basic framework consensus. During Joe Biden's presidency, Congress and the White House used national security grounds to approve a U.S. ban on TikTok unless its Chinese parent company sold its controlling stake. Law enforcement sources tell ABC News that the suspect accused of shooting and killing conservative commentator Charlie Kirk was tracking Kirk's movements and familiarized himself with the campus at Utah Valley University. 22-year-old Tyler Robinson is expected to face formal charges this week. ABC News legal contributor Brian Buckmeyer says those charges may include federal hate crime charges.
I think there is an argument here that might be made, especially with this law enforcement, that if this is meant for politics, you can't have a hate crime based on politics, but Charlie Kirk's religion and politics are so intertwined. I could see an argument for this being a motivated based on his religion and the mixture of his politics. The federal government could make a hate crime allowing for murder as well out of this as well.
Meanwhile, FBI Director Kash Patel tells Fox News Channel that DNA on a towel wrapped around a rifle found near where Charlie Kirk was assassinated matches that of the suspect. Qatar hosted a summit of Arab and Islamic nations in hopes of presenting a united response to Israel's attack on Hamas leaders last week in Doha. But leaders offered different views today about what to do, and the group agreed to take only minimal action. Israel has retaliated against Hamas and other militants in Iran, Lebanon, Syria, Yemen, and now Qatar. Before the summit, analysts floated possibly closing airspace to Israeli flights or downgrading ties with Israel. A final statement from the meeting only called on states to take measures to prevent Israel from continuing its actions against Palestinians. The Federal Reserve is expected to cut interest rates when it holds its September meeting this week. This as the jobs market is showing signs of a slowdown. Cutting interest rates has been one tactic used by the Fed to jumpstart hiring. But ABC's Rebecca Jarvis explains that cutting rates too much could lead to even more inflation.
The Fed has to balance a weakening jobs market with hiring slowing and inflation, which is still high in some categories, especially at the grocery store. You see it in coffee, ground beef, and apples.
It's 82 degrees in Alliance at 5:32. This is WDPN News. I'm Jeff Mears.
Here's the Alliance Area Weather Forecast on AM 1310 WDPN.
Your forecast this afternoon calling for sunny skies with a high near 86. Tonight, partly cloudy, a low around 56. Sunshine Tuesday, a high near 83. For Wednesday, more sun, a high of 82. Sunshine continuing Thursday, a high of 85. That's your WDPN weather.
Hey, Max, you look absolutely dashing in that purple tie. Ready to harness the world?
You bet, Daisy. I'm ready as I'll ever be. And might I say, your purple tie really pops with your vest.
Thanks. I almost went with a cape, but didn't want to come across as pretentious.
Nonsense. Anyone in our line of work should rock a cape.
You might be onto something, Max.
Phew, so here we go. First day on the job. We've got this, right?
Right. Don't forget, we both graduated from Dogs Inc. with honors.
Which means I can guide my human around a busy city with ease.
And I can give my human a restful night.
I hope my human is kind and loving.
And I hope mine likes wet kisses and zoomies.
Ready to make a difference?
Born ready. Let's go.
Discover how extraordinary dogs like Daisy and Max change lives at no cost to the recipients. Visit dogsinc.org.
Welcome back. 1310 WDPN, the Sam Bourquin Show. We're making some changes over here, moving some papers around. We'll go over some winners and losers of the NFL Week 2 coming up here in a little bit. Congratulations to Mount Union as they took care of business in Grove City over the weekend, 49-14. Raiders are 2-0. Bye week this week, they'll be at Baldwin Wallace a week from this Saturday, 1:30 right here on 1310 WDPN. Buckeyes win over OU Saturday night. They are 3-0, still ranked number 1 in the AP College Football Top 25. Penn State is number 2, followed by LSU. Miami, Florida. Boy, Ross was all over that pick, wasn't he? He was all over the Hurricanes on Saturday. Georgia is number 5. They are 3-0. And then the second 5 in your top 10, Oregon, number 6. 7 is Florida State. 8, Texas. 9, Illinois. 10 is Texas A&M. Now, I believe Illinois goes to Indiana Saturday night. That's one of the big Big Ten games. Congratulations to Coach Matt Campbell and Iowa State. The Cyclones are 4-0. Let's see here. Georgia Tech is 3-0. They beat Clemson on a walk-off field goal. The Ramblin' Wreck are 3-0. Good to see. How about Vanderbilt? Boy, Ross had that one too. Ross Benjamin, wagertalk.com. He's our football handicapper. He nailed Vanderbilt. He had them to win the game outright as a dog, and they won outright. They blistered South Carolina. Vandy, number 20 in the country. Michigan is 21 this week. Notre Dame is 24th. They are 0-2. USC is 3-0, but they're number 25. They haven't played anybody. What happened to Notre Dame Saturday night? Irish fans, you had to be watching that game in absolute horror and astonishment. Of course, the Buckeyes were on Peacock Saturday night, so I couldn't even watch the game upstairs. I had to go down to the basement because that's where one of our TVs has got all that crap so I can watch the stuff on the apps. So I went down to the basement and I watched Ohio State and OU. It was, well, you know what? When I turned the game on, it was 13-9. I said, okay, I'm going to go down and watch. And then and I kept flipping back and forth because Notre Dame and Texas A&M was on NBC, and it was also streaming on Peacock. So I was going back and forth. And then the Buckeye game ended, and I said, oh, boy, I feel bad for the people that had Ohio State minus 28.5. They just got bit in the butt. 28-point game. So then I flipped over and I watched Notre Dame and Texas A&M. I said, boy, this game might go down to the wire. Yeah, I don't know how Notre Dame lost that game. I don't know how they lost that game. But their defense is not very good. And that Holder botched that extra. Oh, I felt bad for him. I felt so bad for that kid. Botched the ball was snapped right to him. Right to him. And he took his eye off the ball before he put it down on the ground. He fumbled it. And now, to his credit, he got up and he scrambled and he was looking into the end zone. He actually threw the ball toward the end zone. It was an incomplete pass. But usually, a lot of times when there's a missed extra point in a game, you say, oh, that's going to come back and haunt him. 90% of the time it doesn't. But this one, I felt in my gut. I said, that's going to cost Notre Dame the game. And by God, it cost them the game. Notre Dame's 0-2. They went to the national championship game last year. They are 0-2. Now, not only is Notre Dame going to have to run the table the rest of the way, they're going to need some help. And it's only week 4. It's only week 4. How the hell has Iowa State played 4 games? Notre Dame's only played 2. How does that happen? Anyhow, Notre Dame's in trouble. They're going to have to win the rest of their games, and they're going to have to get some help. And we're only 4 weeks into the college football season. Not good for the Fighting Irish. And I like Marcus too. I like Coach Marcus. They just, I don't know what it is. They just don't have it. They just don't have it. Trying to go back here. Okay, 41-40 A&M. So that extra point, that kind of screwed Notre Dame over. But looking at some of the stats, A&M, they throw for 360. They ran for well over 100 yards. Notre Dame couldn't stop them. Notre Dame, Carr throws for 293, TD and a pick. Love is a really nice back. 23 carries, 94 yards. Price 12 for 68. Notre Dame just can't stop anybody. Can't stop anybody. So they're 0-2, right? Let's take a look and see what the Fighting Irish have coming up. Okay, they've got Purdue at home. Should be a win. They go to Arkansas. That's a nooner. That could be trouble. Boise State comes to South Bend. They'll beat Boise State. NC State comes to Notre Dame. They should beat them, but I don't think it'll be easy. Then USC comes to Notre Dame. They got 3 home games in a row after the trip to Arkansas. That'll be a battle. SC, I think, is fool's gold right now. They're 3-0, but again, they haven't played anybody yet. And then we turn the calendar. We go to November because Notre Dame will actually have a bye the week after USC. They'll go to Boston College. They always struggle at Boston College. Now, they usually win, but man, do they struggle there. Then they will host Navy. Winnable. They'll be at Pitt. That's winnable. They will host Syracuse. That's winnable. Then they go to Stanford. That's winnable. Now, as I look at this schedule, I mean, I can see Notre Dame running the table. Purdue, Arkansas, Boise State, NC State, USC, Boston College, Navy, Pitt, Syracuse, Stanford. They can run that. They can absolutely run that table. So maybe you shouldn't get too upset yet. But the fact that you gave up 41 at home to A&M, that raises a few red flags for me. Other big results in college football over the weekend. Ole Miss had a nice win over Arkansas. LSU beat Florida. Oh, the Gators are going to be looking for a new head coach. It won't be long. It won't be long. Did you see Brian Kelly snap at that reporter after LSU beat Florida? One of the reporters must have been from an LSU media outlet. Pretty much so why can you guys not run the ball? And just Brian Kelly just snapped at him. Just snapped at him for like 2 minutes. It's pretty good theater. Vanderbilt smoked South Carolina 31-7. Vandy was a dog on the road and just beat the tar out of South Carolina. Michigan, no problem with Central Michigan. Oregon, no problem with Northwestern, 34-14. Oklahoma, no trouble with Temple. This was an interesting game. Alabama beat Wisconsin 38-14. Now, Bama was an 18-point favorite. I thought Wisconsin might hang in there with them a little bit more than they did. But it was 21-0 Alabama at halftime. Game was over. Don't count out the Tide yet, folks. Don't count them out. Don't count them out. Told you about Mount Union's big win over Grove City. Go Raiders. No surprise, Akron lost again. Kent State had Buffalo by the bullhorns. Let them get away. Golden Flashes blow another one. And we'll get ready for a big week of college football. Big weekend coming up here on the 21st. I'm sorry. That would be the 20th. What do we got here as far as big matchups? Utah, Texas Tech. That's a nooner. 16th ranked Utes, 17th ranked Red Raiders. UNLV comes to Miami of Ohio. Watch out, Rebels. Watch out. Red Hawks will be waiting for you. The Civil War game, Oregon State. Oregon's a 35-point favorite. Holy cow. Michigan, Nebraska. That game's in Lincoln. That could be a little bit of a trap for the Wolverines. We'll see what happens there. Auburn and Oklahoma will get together Saturday afternoon. Sooners at home there, about a touchdown favorite. Who else is ranked? Georgia Tech will play Temple. What's the primetime games coming up here this weekend? What do we got? Florida at number 4, Miami. The Canes are a 7.5-point favorite. The battle for the Apple Cup, Washington State. Now remember, the Buckeyes go to Washington a week from this Saturday. So Washington's got their rival game against Washington State, and then the Buckeyes come to Seattle. That's a tough test there for the Huskies. I told you about Indiana, Illinois. That's a big one for the Big Ten, 7:30. Hoosiers, a 3.5-point favorite there at home. And then you get into the late games on Saturday night. How about this? Who's going to stay up for the 11:05 start? Michigan State at Southern Cal. 11:05 Eastern time. You know what time that game will be over? 3 in the morning. 3 in the morning. That'll probably be up. And, of course, the Browns Sunday will be home against the Green Bay Packers at 1 o'clock. Green Bay right now is an 8.5-point favorite over Cleveland on Sunday. My God. I was just flipping past on Facebook here, Jordan Miller, who does a great job over on Q92 News during the week. Stark County man has been arrested for alleged sex crimes with animals again. For the love of Pete, throw this guy away. Throw him away. Sam wanted to weigh in on your poll question. Why are the Cleveland Browns 0-2? I, like many, believe it starts at the top with Jimmy and Dee Haslam. Bad decision makers and, believe it or not, bad business people. Reap what you sow. Michael says from the top on down, it's everyone. Everyone should be held accountable and probably won't be. Mark L. says ownership, GM, and head coach equally deserve blame in the 0-2 start. Sam, at least our guy made a field goal and a couple of extra points. Progress. Laughing emoji. Yeah, Andre Schmidt, he made a field goal and a couple of extra points yesterday. Good stuff. Steelers went down yesterday. The Seattle Seahawks came across the country and played a 1 o'clock game and beat the Pittsburgh Steelers at Heinz Field. I dug up this stat. Do you see this? The Seattle Seahawks are 20-4 in Sunday 1 o'clock starts on road games since 2018. That's the best record in the NFL. You know how long of a flight Seattle is to Pittsburgh? And then to play a 1 o'clock game? I call it Heinz Field because that's what I call it. The Seahawks in 1 o'clock road games are 20-4 since 2018. That's incredible. Sam Darnold looked really good yesterday. Aaron Rodgers didn't look bad, but he didn't look as good as he did against the Jets the week before. So the Seahawks took care of the Steelers on Sunday. And last night's game was kind of a dud. Minnesota and Atlanta. That was the primetime game last night. Yeah. 22-6 Falcons. It was a 9-6 game at halftime. I didn't hardly watch it at all. Obviously, we were out last night. We were at the movie theater. So I didn't watch. And by the time I got home, I saw the score and I thought, geez, this looks pretty boring. So I passed. Saw the score. That was good enough. But yeah, Falcons beat the Vikings last night. If you missed it, 22-6. Now tonight there is a NFL doubleheader. Baker Mayfield and the Buccaneers against C.J. Stroud and the Texans. 7 o'clock. 10 o'clock tonight. The Chargers and the Raiders. You know what? Both these games might be pretty good. They might be pretty good ball games. Taking a quick look at the NFL schedule next week, besides the Browns and the Packers, Steelers go to New England. Scrap. Raiders at the Commanders. That could be good. Boy, not a lot of good matchups next week. Cowboys and the Bears. Broncos, Chargers. Next Sunday night, Kansas City at New York against the Giants. And next Monday night, this will be fun. The Lions at the Ravens next Monday, 8:15. That'll be a good ball game. All right, if you still want to weigh in, the Sam Bourquin Show poll question of the day: what is the biggest reason the Cleveland Browns have started 0-2? Let us know on our social media platforms. We'll come back, we'll read those, and we'll start to put a bow on things on this Monday. It's the Sam Bourquin Show on AM 1310 WDPN.
You've always enjoyed an active lifestyle, hiking with family, resort vacations, the occasional trip to the spa, and nights out with friends at your favorite restaurants. You want and need your lifestyle to follow you into your retirement years. Now, imagine a place with peaceful surroundings, resort amenities, and easy access to city life. It's just around the corner at Copeland Oaks. Copeland Oaks has earned a reputation as more than a retirement destination, but also a place to call home. An independent consultant for senior living rated Copeland Oaks with a perfect score, and it's easy to see why. Maintain your lifestyle on the beautiful Copeland Oaks campus with all the amenities you love, and if you need it down the road, assistance is there. Keep living your life to its fullest at Copeland Oaks, your all-inclusive senior living resort. Visit CopelandOaks.com for more information. That's CopelandOaks.com.
Canton's about to get a whole lot more colorful.
Mural Fest is back, and this year, 9 brand new murals are hitting downtown walls.
Be there for the big unveiling, Saturday, September 27th, from 1 to 4 p.m.
Live music, food, and a free downtown art experience you don't want to miss. 9 murals, 1 community, endless inspiration.
Mural Fest Canton, Saturday, September 27th, 1 to 4 p.m. in downtown Canton. Free and open to all. Check out muralfestcanton.com for more info.
Do you have trouble getting in and out of the bathtub? Are you afraid you'll slip and fall entering or exiting a tub? Safe Step walk-in tubs can transform your bathtub from an area of concern to a calming refuge. Call them today at 1-800-498-2098 and save $1,600. Safe Step walk-in tubs and showers are proudly made in Tennessee and offer an ultra-low step-in, avoiding that difficult climb over a traditional bathtub wall. They also offer a variety of therapeutic benefits that may help soothe your aching muscles and joints, increasing your mobility, boosting your energy, and improving your sleep. Safe Step walk-in tubs are designed to easily fit your existing tub space and are often installed in as little as 1 day. Just dial 1-800-498-2098 today to save $1,600 and receive a free shower package. That's 1-800-498-2098 for a free no-obligation consultation and to save $1,600. Safe Step walk-in tubs. Safety never felt so good.
Do we want to get rocked?
All right, a couple of minutes before we bid you adieu for this Monday. Don't forget, we'll be back with you tomorrow at 3 right here on AM 1310 WDPN. Another edition of the Sam Bourquin Show. Let's see. I told you about some of the winners and losers over the weekend, NFL. Colts had a bizarre strategy at the end of yesterday's game. You see that? They decided to run the ball, and then go for a long field goal at the end of the game. I don't know if they were afraid to put it up in the air. I don't know. So anyway, they bring in Spencer Schrader to kick a 60-yard field goal. He missed it. But there was a flag on the play. Broncos got called for a very questionable leverage penalty on the kick. 15-yard penalty. Boom. 45-yard field goal. Winner. Colts handle the business. How about the Eagles defense yesterday? We didn't talk much about this game. Eagles beat the Chiefs 20-17. How about the Chiefs? 0-2. 0-2 for Patty Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs.
When do they start blaming Taylor Swift?
Oh, give them another week. It'll start. She'll really start writing songs then. Lions offense was just out of control. 52 on the board against Chicago yesterday. Holy smokes. Jacksonville blew the game against Cincinnati. Had a lead going into the fourth quarter. Joe Burrow was out. They couldn't finish the deal. Carolina Panthers blew one against the Cardinals yesterday. I think Burrow's going to be out for like 3 months. He just can't stay healthy. Great talent. Great quarter. I think he's one of the top 4 quarterbacks in the NFL? He can't stay healthy. Justin Fields yesterday. 2 for 8 for 25 yards with the Jets. 2 for 8 for 25 yards in the first half. He lost the fumble. Took him out. They brought Tyrod Taylor in to finish the game. Justin Fields, 3 of 11 for 27 yards. Wow. What happened there? Talked about the Steelers and the Seahawks. Steelers defense just got thrashed yesterday by Seattle. Pittsburgh now 1-1 on the season. Week 2 of the NFL. Don't forget doubleheader tonight. We'll talk about those games tomorrow. We'll see what. I'll tune in tonight. I'll watch Baker May. I'll watch Baker, and I'll probably watch that late game too. Raiders and the Chargers tonight out in Vegas. All right, no Guardians tonight. They're off. They are on their way or probably already are in Detroit to take on the Tigers Tuesday, Wednesday night, and then Thursday afternoon. Guards are 2.5 out of that third wild card spot. So we'll do a little scoreboard watching here tonight as well. All right. It's that time. I think Rainsburg wants to keep me here till 7.
I'm so sorry, Sam. Sometimes I get distracted, and that makes me human. That's all I can say.
That's going to wrap it up for today. We appreciate you texting and emailing and listening. We'll do it all over again tomorrow at 3, right here on AM 1310 WDPN. Don't forget, go Browns, go Bucks, go Cavs, go Guards. Good night, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow.